What's down, Alphas? It's Zelme with
A glass of groovy, of course. What's up? What's good? What's happening? What's popping this lovely Thursday evening? Oh my gosh, y'all! I gotta tell you, okay, we always have some wonderful classics who come by and support us every week. Okay, but this week we have an old school friend of Ruby's. Okay, like I have known Kelly since 20 odd years, almost 25 years of my life. Okay. So we are super excited to have a long-time friend of Ruby's in the chat. Thank you so much for coming by. How you doing today, Zell?
I'm blessed. Announcement real quick. We're gonna announce again. We will be live Mondays. We're gonna do more of the discussion things that y'all want, and we'll be live Thursdays. Give y'all a little more content and a little bit shorter game time. So a little shorter show time. So it's gonna be a fun
Exactly. Time. I mean, we had to figure out a way, right, where we can appease Ruby's need to talk a lot, but also right, appease Char's need for us to not go to ridiculous lengths. So we found a balance. So there are some stories coming up. You know, we've already pre-planned them. You know, if they didn't make it into the show this week, but you sent a suggestion, guys, make sure you tune in on Monday because a few suggestions I know for sure we covered will be coming up on the Monday show. And we are going to have a really interesting discussion. I don't want to ruin too much. But I'm going to be talking a little bit about a coping for clout situation. I'm just saying, Rolo. I'm just saying. We might be calling you out. Anyway.
Report the channel. You do not belong in this space. Like, I don't even know this space. I can't even say your name right, so I don't even know.
No, he can't. It was really tragic. I didn't even know who he was talking about. He was like,
white guy with the long hair, right? White guy with the long hair. So that's what we talking about.
Yeah, he's the godfather of the manosphere, except no one cares, and most people don't even know that. So
you got called,
fine, but that's Monday. That's not today.
Shout out to Danteezy in the chat. I see you, my guy. We got drama on Monday. We're gonna do a little more drama. So that's what it is.
Y'all, Char's in the chat. What is up, Char? We have a suggestion from you today and also on Monday. Well, I know I do. So make sure you tune in also on Monday. I'm not saying like you have to. I'm just saying like you definitely should. Also, there's a suggestion from J. Charles and Char coming up next week that is going to be premiere only. So it's not going to be on one of the live shows. So you guys got to be subscribed. Click that bell so you don't miss anything, okay? Because, dude, we got stuff. We got stuff like coming up, and it's going to be good. I think it's going to be great. Yeah.
We got multiple shows, multiple things. So the channel growing, we evolving. Week 7, I always like that's the time I got to turn up. So week 7 is this is the week 7 of the show. By the way, for y'all that don't know, I know we just getting a lot of stuff because a lot to announce. iHeart, Amazon Music, Spotify, we are on it. It's in the link tree right under the YouTube channel. You click that link, it takes you to the Spotify. If you don't like Spotify, it has Amazon Music and it has iHeart if you use those two. So make sure you go on there. Apple Music, I'm trying to get on, but they hate me right now. You don't have an iPhone. So they basically they're like, you gotta wait to activate. So we'll be on that soon, but right now it's Amazon Music, iHeart, and Spotify. So we are
Spotify.
On you can do it's video for Spotify as well, so you can go watch the video or anything you want. They will be out on Fridays and Tuesdays. So be there for that the day after. Exclusively on YouTube Live will be here. Well, not exclusively because we don't kick in Facebook.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's not like we're live right now on Twitch and Kick and other places. Shout out to our audience there if we have one. I don't know. I've never gone over there. The worst. This is so bad. We're just gonna divert our attention from me being terrible. And say shout out to Mama Rubes and Mama Belle. They are in the house also. So see, like, I'm feeling the love. I'm feeling the love today. You know, I think it's going to be a good show. I'm excited. Yeah.
It is. Let's get into the first story because I know this is what y'all here for to get the news. We just want to get some announcement out of the way. Big things happening this week. All 6 episodes are on those platforms as well. So if you like, I'd rather just listen on iHeart because I'd be on there anyway. All 6 are on there. The link again is in right under YouTube in the link tree. Be on that. I'll be that link tree.
Exactly.
I think it should be that, or should be on there if YouTube didn't delete it. If not, I'll put it in the chat shortly.
Right. And if you're like people who really love that and you're super happy about it, please thank Zell because I've been totally worthless all week. My apologies. I am sick and recovering. Okay. So I wasn't really trying to do anything. I'm on it though, like as of next week. Definitely.
We got a Canadian drugstore story that we're about to start. So
drugs store. Okay. It's not Shoppers Drug Mart. Okay. It's a Canadian drugs store. And by drugs, I do mean meth and crack. Okay. So let's go ahead.
Crazy Canadians back at it again. Shit. Why you jumping? It's just the hook. Why you stunning? Is it that you should? Shit.
Crazy Canadians are back at it again is right. So a BC, British Columbia man was arrested for selling hard drugs from a BC kiosk. Okay, and he gears up for his charter challenge. Amazing. Now, if you guys can't see there, if you're not watching, right? If you're listening on Spotify or iHeartRadio, for example, right? I will describe to you. You have here a sign. Okay. Now the sign on the kiosk has a little symbol called the drug store. Okay. Top says no impurities or cuts. 18 plus ID required. Okay. And so you've got pricing for cocaine. $20, $50, $90, $220. And then, for different weights, right? Then crack cocaine, heroin, meth, and MDMA. Okay. It says 100% fentanyl free, tested supply. I mean, hey, at least his sign is thorough. It's thorough. No, I get it, right? An effort to fight against the overdose crisis. And there is an overdose crisis with this fentanyl danger, in essence, right? And so Vancouver police, though, obviously don't agree that this is the way to go about this. And so they arrested Jerry Martin and impounded cash, drugs, and the mobile trailer he was operating as the drugstore on Thursday, one day after he'd begun operations. He made it through a whole day of operations? That is impressive. Now, speaking on CKNW's The Jazz Johal show, Martin said despite losing his equipment and $15,000 in cash, he'd do the same thing again and hopes his case leads to some form of drug legalization. That's the whole point of doing it, was to get arrested so that we can do a constitutional challenge to try and legalize drugs, he said. Okay. Now, before he was arrested, Martin's kiosk was selling cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine, and MDMA, which he said were tested for fentanyl at Get Your Drugs Tested, a harm reduction facility that Vancouver Coastal Health directs users to. Martin said he was compelled to act when the province decriminalized possession of small quantities of certain drugs, but did not pair the move with wide access to a safe supply. They knew that if they didn't provide a safe supply and let the entire province be allowed to just have these drugs, it was just going to get them from the same tainted supply and it was going to be nothing but trouble, right? So they've left it up to people like him, right, to step in and do something until they've decided that they can do something. Martin said he doesn't advocate for hard drugs to be treated the same as cannabis, adding he believes a clean supply should be provided by the government or through pharmacies. But he said, with the government providing few avenues to tested drugs and fatal overdoses skyrocketing, someone needed to force the issue and that he was willing to be the one facing the legal risk. Now, he said, I think they, the general public, like hard drugs or not, I think they'd be happy if one of their family members went and got something that they actually were supposed to get instead of something. If drugs were legalized, we wouldn't have the addiction problems. People would be treated as human beings. They'd be treated with a health problem, not a criminal problem. It destroys families. If they look at it from that angle, I think they'd change their minds pretty quick. At the time of the arrest, Vancouver police said they support measures aimed at public safety for people who use drugs, including harm reduction services and decriminalization. However, we remain committed in our position that drug trafficking will continue to be the subject of enforcement, Constable Tanya Vicentin said in a media release. Martin was released pending his next court appearance and is subject to a court order that he stay out of the downtown east side. Court records suggest Martin has not been formally charged yet, and a timeline for his legal case was not immediately clear. In the meantime, he is fundraising with the goal of mounting his charter challenge. Wow, guys. So take a look at this. Apparently it's been taken down because when I click on this, the campaign is no longer found. So I guess GoFundMe decided that this was not a worthy enough cause. Wow.
On a sunny Wednesday evening, Jerry Martin sets up his mobile storefront at the corner of Main and Cordova Streets in Vancouver.
This is straight from the source?
Straight from the source.
I see, uncut.
We've opened the world's first drugstore to try and help curb the overdoses and other dangers that are happening from drug dealing and drug buying. So,
What are you selling here today?
cocaine, heroin, meth, and MDMA.
He knows what he is doing is illegal, but he says it's necessary.
Number one, just someone buying your drugs, it's a lot safer. People have to go through a lot of things to get their drugs. They can be robbed in an alley, and many women get, abused and do different things just to get their drugs, whether they got money or not. So it's going to stop a lot of that. Plus, it's going to stop a lot of the overdoses. People are going to know what they're getting, and it's very important to people that if they buy something, they need to know they're getting that product.
I want to get 4 MDMA.
4 MDMA?
Yes, please. And these are clean, right?
Yeah.
Thanks, man. I appreciate what you're doing. Good luck on this.
Martin has lost a brother to overdose and says this is a harm reduction measure to combat the toxic drug supply.
There's the opportunity for clean drugs to replace dirty drugs that are killing people, then why not? I think that it can only be a good thing. I mean, I think that there's going to be the contrarians that think that it's just allowing people to do drugs, but the people that don't want to do drugs aren't going to do drugs.
Others saw Martin's project differently.
There's no such thing as safe drugs, period. None. Just no. Okay, so if he could do this, I'm going to do it too then, because I'd like to have a condo. Okay? How much money is this already making?
We suffered enough. Don't put the
Hold on. Is Brethren there? Is he just mad that he doesn't sell drugs because he don't make enough money with the job he does do? Like, I'm not really sure what's happening here because, Jerry Martin literally set this up very publicly, knowing he's going to prison. This has nothing to do with the man trying to make himself independently wealthy, or he would not have done this publicly, called the news, so that way the news could be there for his first and only day of being open, right? So people are missing the point, as always, right? You've always got these Puritans who entirely always miss the point anyway, which is, hey, he knew he was getting arrested. He knew he was not going to make a dime. So, and in fact, if anything, he was going to lose money, right? Because he was going to invest in all of that product to sell to people, and then he's going to get arrested and then lose all of the money that he made and right? I mean, dude.
right here in front of our stores.
A short time after opening his store, Vancouver police said Martin was arrested, and the VPD seized his truck, trailer, body armor, and an unidentified amount of cash. The arrest, part of Martin's plan in order to launch a legal challenge arguing drug users have the right to a clean supply during an overdose crisis. Emadagahi, Global News.
I mean, is it different? Canada's already decided that drug users have a right, or at least we should provide them with safe, clean needles, right? I mean, they're addicts anyway. They're going to inject anyway. They're going to find ways, even if it's filthy and disgusting, to inject those needles anyway. So if we provide them with safe, clean needles, at least they won't be passing around, added diseases and, infecting themselves and whatever. Like, we understand that addiction is a disease. So with what's been happening with these insane overdoses of people who are not even trying to, in some cases, take some of these harder drugs like cocaine, they're trying to, do basically a party drug. And instead of getting the party drug, they're getting a bunch of baby powder mixed with fentanyl. And since those people who are mixing it have no idea what the heck they're doing, it's not some people are getting nothing, some people are getting an okay dose, and some people are getting enough to kill 5 elephants, right? So it's an incredibly uncontrolled and unsafe thing. Is what Jerry Martin trying to do, is that any different than us providing needles? Honestly, I mean, you're not providing it for free, right? I do think that there's something to be said for, you know, I know we get into problems like, well, MDMA, that's just a party drug and whatever, but yeah, that's what's happening is a bunch of kids are dying, not because they're drug addicts, but because they want to party. So is it different? Yes and no, right? I do think there is definitely space for this, and space for this discussion, space for this to be mediated in some way, shape, or form, by governments, by pharmacies, by something, right? Not by just the average Joe Blow, because that's going to create the same problems. But yeah, no, I definitely think that what Jerry's doing is a great thing. Obviously, they've shut down the GoFundMe. I know you want to take a look for his social media and whatnot, see how it is that if he set up a secondary way for you to support this cause, if you'd like to support this cause. But in the meantime, though, I do got to give a little chuckle because this was flagrant. It really was. And kudos to you, Mr. Martin. The drugs story. This is great.
Crazy Canadians back at it again. Shit. Why you jumping? It's just the hook. Why you stunning? Is it that you should? Shit.
Oh. I was trying, okay, wait, you're muted, Zell, but I was trying to fix a problem because I felt like I looked like I was too high up, and so I was trying to fix that, and by me trying to fix it, I made it a lot worse. Sorry about it, y'all. But yeah, so that was the drugs store story. I couldn't believe it. I honestly could not believe this dude really did this. And at first, I just thought he was out of his mind. Like, I thought it was like, you're trying to prove a point. But when he actually said, like, yeah, I am trying to prove a point, I actually planned on getting arrested. I don't even know how he got through a whole day of business. But, you know, I mean, he's making a valid point, which is left, right, and center with the opioid crisis. When you're talking about street availability, you know, they've cracked down on, you know, the real drugs. So what happens are a bunch of dealers are very dangerously using fentanyl and trying to make pills out of fentanyl, and they're killing people left, right, and center. So, I mean, what else could you do but say, hey, listen, addicts are addicts. Like, it's not a willpower thing. They're addicts. So if we want them to live long enough to hit rock bottom and get better, maybe we should not make the only option they have fentanyl, you know? So I don't know. What do you think, Sal?
It's interesting that he thought about to like, let's me just make this to get awareness, because he, as Ruby said in the video, he didn't plan on it working. He said, matter of fact, he said call the news. Which, if you call the news and doing something very illegal, you probably don't expect to win in this situation. So that means he wanted to make a point. I think he made it, and you can argue. It's fun, like, hey, you giving them clean needles and telling them to do it anyway. I'm just saying, instead of having them just mix whatever and do whatever.
Yeah, right. Because drugs can be a death sentence, but you can also recover. I mean, it's an illness, right? In a way. So when your people don't have clean needles, right, then it's not like they're gonna stop injecting. Oh, I don't have clean needles, I guess I won't do anything. Like, no, they're just gonna then use dirty needles and share needles, and then soon everyone's got hepatitis A, B, C, and they've got HIV, and they've got whatever, and then they are dying because they've accidentally injected someone else's blood into their own blood. I mean, you know, it did actually really reduce the rate of deaths, right? And it didn't really increase the rate of drug addicts, or how long addiction would last. Like, it didn't really have a negative impact. So it made sense. So, you know, I don't really see, I mean, maybe you might get more college kids trying MDMA if they have a safe place to buy it. I guess maybe, I don't know. But that's the only downfall I can really think of.
Only thing I know in Denver, Colorado, and where my friends stayed, it didn't really raise the amount of people doing. Just made it legal to do it without people having to sneak around the corner and around. I'm just saying, people want to do something, they gonna do.
They're gonna do it.
If they addicts, they're gonna surely do it.
Exactly.
But speaking of doing things you know they're gonna do, how about politicians? Ruby, America is great, isn't it?
Great is overstated. Yeah.
I'm just saying, politicians, even the ones you think won't. I have an update. Shout out to the update, but we do have an update on one Mr. Clarence Thomas. Let's listen to me and Phil DeFranco break this down.
Hi. My name is Jenny. I'm a sophomore, and this is for all three of you. Can you say in one sentence or less what, you know what I mean? Can you say why America is the greatest country in the world?
Update time, and of course we're using Phil DeFranco to tell us a little bit about more what is going on with Clarence Thomas. Let's listen to what he's saying. I'm gonna break it down to you. Go follow Philip DeFranco as he's trying to convince you to buy Raycons, which shout out to my cousin, Ray J. Let's go.
Day happiness guarantee. And then Clarence Thomas is a whole ass sugar baby at this point, except instead of sucking dick for money, he fucks a whole country for it, y'all. How is there even more news coming out about him? So much had already recently been exposed, and there's more. When you have
more coming out, more, by the way, I want you to understand that. More.
Political institutions and government, you know that there's going to be corruption. But to see it happening in the Supreme Court is especially concerning. Right in the past, when you think about the different branches of government, you think about checks and balances. One of the ones that people would hold in the highest of regards was the Supreme Court, thinking of it as the biggest check and balance. But what we've discovered in large part thanks to billionaire Harlan Crow is that we all got it wrong. He writes checks to undo the balances. Right, and what I'm specifically talking about is that ProPublica has now published another report on the sketchy-ass relationship between a high court justice and a billionaire real estate magnate and Republican mega donor. And this notably coming just weeks after the absolutely stunning report that revealed that Thomas had been accepting incredibly expensive luxury gifts from Crow for over 2 decades without disclosure.
By the way, the problem is he's been getting gifts. And by the way, we found out in this report, he's just not going to go. He's going to go over the second part. But recapping what we already talked about, he is literally going to go over, what happens next. But in our previous story, we known that Harlan Crow, the man on, y'all can't see right now, let me move me out the way. That guy would pay for his vacation trips worth hundreds of millions of dollars so him, Clarence Thomas, and his wife can enjoy life. And of course, he's a Republican donor. And then we found out the more disturbing thing is that they are allowed to accept these gifts, which means they are not the ultimate checks and balances, because the whole thing is basically about everyone can be bought but the Supreme Court. Why? Because the Supreme Court can't lose their job, so therefore they are the most secure in their job. That was the thought. Because Republicans and Democrats can always be bought, because if they don't have money, they can't get reelected, right? That was always the thought process. I knew it was bogus the whole time, but again, most people don't recognize that fact. That doesn't matter. And since it does.
Closing them. What we're seeing with this latest report is like Crow is coming up with every possible way to throw money at this man. And in this case, a third person, Justice Thomas's grandnephew, Mark Martin. Or because in 2008, Thomas decided that he was going to send his grandnephew, Mark Martin, to Hidden Lake Academy, a private boarding school in northern Georgia. And Martin had lived with Thomas and his wife for years and was in their legal custody, with the justice recently telling an interviewer he was raising him as a son. But the tuition at this boarding school was just insanely high at over $6,000 a month, which, hey, is a big spend, but seemingly something that the couple could afford. Thomas and his wife bring in combined incomes of more than $500,000 in 2006 and over $850,000 in 2007. But turns out, like with a lot of things that we've learned recently, the Thomases did not foot the bill. Instead, according to a bank statement for Hidden Lake from July of 2009, Crow's company paid for Martin's tuition that month. And Christopher Grimm.
Listen, I'm going to be honest with y'all. That is very disturbing. It is very disturbing that someone would pay your... This is, by the way, he is known as a Republican donor. Meaning when laws pass, rich people still fit the bill. For anybody who ever thought that rich people didn't fit the bill, they fit the bill. They're paying for whatever access they get. I always tell a story about how in Florida, They did a study on the study of polar bears. There's no polar bears in Florida. Not even at the zoo. I've been to many of them. They might have one now in like a cooler room. But I don't. And it was about Antarctica too. I'm gonna do that story one day. I am actually gonna bring that story up. I might do it on a weekend show or something where I just bring up all the false grants to give to their nephews and friends and stuff that they do, and they all playing like, oh, Joe Biden corrupt. All these people corrupt. That's why I said, you saw how his son gets treated, his nephew that's raised as a son, and y'all be like, oh, look at Joe Biden's son get this special treatment. All their children get special treatment. It's part of the deal. Like it's weird when people complain like that.
Wood, a former administrator at the school, said that it went beyond just that month. In fact, claiming that Crow covered Martin's tuition the whole time he was there, which was around a year. But again, it doesn't just stop there. Grimwood also saying that Crow had told him that he had paid for Martin's tuition at another private boarding school called Randolph-Macon Academy that he had attended both before and after he went to Hidden Lake. And according to reports, the exact total Crow paid for Martin's education over the years remains unclear, but if he paid for all 4 years at the two schools, the price tag could have exceeded $150,000. And very notably, when Crow's office responded to ProPublica's questions, they did not dispute the facts presented, but said that Crow has long been passionate about the importance of quality education and giving back to those less fortunate, especially at-risk youth. And
Wait, what? Wait. His people at that time, 2006, as he just stated, was making almost $1 million. They're not at risk. Like it's not like you gave a scholarship, my guy. You just paid his tuition. Even if you gave a scholarship, it's still you did it on purpose, but you could at least hit it in a scholarship. At risk in what? His parents the people he lived with are wealthy.
That he and his wife have supported many young Americans through scholarship and other programs at a variety of schools, including his alma mater, Randolph-Macon Academy. Going on to say tuition and other financial assistance is given directly to academic institutions, and concluding, it's disappointing that those with partisan political interests would try to turn helping at-risk youth with tuition assistance into something nefarious or political. To which I have to ask, to whoever or whatever group made this statement, did you do it like straight face? How is a child?
Listen, the Republicans do this amazing thing where they just pretend like certain things didn't happen. And it's right there. Like, oh, how dare these people with political agendas try to ruin an at-risk youth? I'm like, we're talking about a man who is worth probably $1 million at this point. He was making, what, $500,000-$850,000 a year. This man is worth $1 million. There is nothing at risk about this man. You can't even pretend you was doing this at risk. What is going on? Y'all explain to me.
In the legal care of a couple making nearly $1 million a year, and that's just of what we know. Unfortunately, given all the unreported things that we're finding out, I have to add that clarifier. But how is that person less fortunate? Especially when you consider the fact that Martin also told ProPublica himself that he got to join in on some of the lavish trips that Thomas took with Crow, right? Visiting.
So he went on these trips, to $1 billion trips with them. Like, just imagine saying somebody at risk when you're paying for like $100 million trips from a man that's a millionaire at this point. He has to be a millionaire. He's not paying for anything. Obviously, Crow is paying all his bills. I'm just wondering, y'all. He's a whole. Hey, listen. Clarence Thomas is a sugar baby, as he said. That's crazy.
Crow's Adirondacks estate, 2 cruises on Crow's super yacht, or I'm sorry, is it a super yacht or is it a less fortunate yacht? Since we're apparently just slapping on descriptors that don't make any sense. Like if you said the Honorable before Clarence Thomas. But also, with this story, after ProPublica published their story, a longtime friend of Thomas who has also served as a lawyer for the justice's wife released a statement confirming that Crow had indeed paid for Martin's tuition at both private schools, though also arguing that Thomas was not required to disclose those payments because Martin was not his dependent child as defined under disclosure law. But you have experts saying that the claim that Thomas didn't have to disclose Crow's tuition payments to Martin is still bullshit because what minor pays their own $6,000 a month tuition to a fancy-ass boarding school? And noting, typically the legal guardian is responsible for the child's education. And this, as ethics law experts told ProPublica they believe that Thomas was required by law to disclose the tuition payments because they appear to be a gift to him. And what's more, Thomas himself has literally reported a similar tuition payment made by another friend on behalf of Martin in his financial disclosures.
Listen, isn't that amazing how rich people just continuously just get more? Like, imagine if all the poor kids who can't afford it would get scholarships or opportunities to go to private boarding schools with real scholarships that actually work for them, with a caveat that they don't win. All I'm saying is, listen, rich people win. That's all you gotta do. If you want to succeed in life, play by the Myron Gaines rule and just get rich. You probably won't be happy. You'll probably be miserable. You probably hate women or whatever. But listen, you'll be successful. You won't have your you won't have your balls anymore, but you might get them back when you're 35. But I don't know, maybe.
Fact that experts say could show that Thomas understood that he was required to disclose tuition aid given to him by friends, but just chose not to with Crow, a man that experts and lawmakers say has shown a clear interest in the court. As we've talked about, he has given millions to efforts to move the judiciary to the right while also serving on boards of think tanks that promote conservative legal theories. But that's where we are with this whole sketchy-ass situation, and it feels like it's just a matter of time until we find out what else Sugar Daddy Crow did for little baby Clarence. And then, are you on a secret government list right now? That may sound...
Listen, I'm on a secret government list because they don't want to support my video. So like and subscribe. Tell your friends, because YouTube seems not to put me on y'all list even though y'all sub to me. So maybe because I talk politics. Hey, listen, I am notarized. My cousins and I'm part of, maybe that's why they're against me. Maybe because when I left those parties, they kind of, I don't know. Y'all, so show some support, share, like, and subscribe, all that. And I'll see you shortly with the real version of me. Back to y'all.
You're still muted.
Unnotarized. I'm used to the mic being up here now, sorry. So. But unnotarized me. Ruby, your thoughts on Uncle Ruckus with the good eye?
Well, I would say that first and foremost, which a lot of people don't realize, several things. I mean, I've listened to a few people address this, and no one has addressed a bunch of different parts of it. And so I want to address those things. Number one is, and this is why I don't want to hear nobody sitting there and shaming, you know, the everyday normal person, the average person, for scheming the system or for this or that or whatever, right? Because literally rich people and corporations and business do all the time. Okay, this is like a very common thing. So they know what all of the loopholes are. They know all of them and they utilize them well. So I bet you if you were to dig in now, what you would see, right, is there's a dual function towards, you know, the tuition payments, right? One is obviously you're paying for something that has nothing to do with tuition, right? You're paying off somebody, right? But why, that doesn't mean you can't use that, for example, for as a tax break somehow, right? And so you'll see them and they'll write that off as some type of charitable donation or whatever, right? When really it's not. It's them being shady. So it's basically a crime, but the crime is getting them the tax break. And what you'll actually see, if we were to really look into it, okay, you would see this type of thing all the time, that the 1%ers are constantly making these shady backdoor type deals and then using stuff like, oh, I'm just going to pay your kid's tuition for 4 years. I'm just going to get your kid into Harvard, bribe that person, and then pay for the first year's tuition for you. Whatever it is, right? You would see that if you were to look into it. And just nobody ever really does. So as a result, like right now, this like focus is being put on Clarence Thomas, but like, dude, this is just what happens. It's kind of like when Lori Loughlin went to prison for the whole admissions scam thing. And it's like, dude, you think she was the first one? You think she was a rare one? That's what they all do. Like they all do it. They can have brilliant kids who are Rhodes Scholars and they would still do it, right? Because that's just what you do. When you are in a certain tax bracket, right? You do certain things. She just did what everyone else was doing. Okay. And she was one of the few people, and they you know, caught her and then held her up and roasted her on a spit, right? But you know how many millions of other people got away with it that year? Like, come on. It's ridiculous. I think people don't realize. Yes, she was a sacrifice. So they're like, look at her, and then ignore all the ones over here who are still doing it this year. Yeah.
Fun fact. Going for a grant for $200,000 for at-risk kids. It was a judge grant from the federal government. You go in there and you enter it and you get, I got accepted. Shout out to my grant writers, Corey and his sister. Shout out to them. We did it. I got in there. I had to speak with the people since I'm over the nonprofit. Spoke with them, realized something very quickly. That all these people know each other, including the people in charge, and they're all judges and top people in the government, and a few millionaires was in there. So I'm conversing with these people and realized quickly I have no shot to get this grant because they all know who's going to it and they know who's getting it next year. And they all just like, $200,000 easy. And the reason I did it was to create like a little mini school thing up across the street for a little like a center for them to have computers and stuff. And they were like, no, we just gonna do some simple thing that they can get a state grant and just put their own money and do it, and then they can just give themselves ridiculously higher wages as you do it in a nonprofit. So that's my personal experience with that. Once you realize I did, you rub elbows, you know people, but I realized that I'm probably not in their category of wealth. So they were like, hey, you're cool, kind of smart, but yeah, we got a list. Buddy, you're not in it. They didn't tell me directly, but you get the feel. You ever been in a room where you got the feel, Ruby, that you knew like, yeah, I'm not getting this award. I see how friendly the people is with this certain person in these certain groups.
I've never really been up for an award, so no, I guess. Yeah, no, haven't even been nominated. And listen, there's multiple people inside this chat room right now that could tell you I am definitely talented enough that I should have been nominated at least a couple times for something.
We nominating Ruby for Creator of the Year on YouTube. Let's go. We're gonna do it. We're gonna get it done soon. So like and share.
Yes, like and share, because Ruby was robbed of valedictorian in college. I was like 0.005%. That was the difference between me and the person who won.
My brother was robbed and he 0.5 over, but they were like, nope, he didn't take this class. Then they just made a rule so he'll lose and get salutatory. Like they literally made a rule that year. The board of the school board, it changed because they had to take this certain class. They just took it from. Fact,
I wasn't valedictorian in high school. My mom was valedictorian in high school.
I'm talking about my brother. They literally stole it from. Like they literally changed rules and stuff. And by the way, the girl was like a teacher's daughter. So
I didn't even graduate from high school. So I was talking about college. I was 0.5% away from being valedictorian of college. Yeah, no, not so much high school. I didn't graduate. Yeah, so let's move on. See, Kelly said it. Very talented. Thank you, Kelly. That's right. You just repeat what Ruby says. That's a good friend. What's our next story?
we have a incel. Good incel story. So let's talk about this incel. That's the wrong. This one.
Then for years you've been hanging in these YouTube streets. Congratulations, you just earned your bachelor's degree. You wanna clap them cheeks? You wanna clap them cheeks?
Y'all, there are so many shootings going on in America, like mass shootings, that it's really hard to keep up with all of them. But I really want to talk about this one that just happened recently in Texas. For a variety of reasons, I want to cover this. Not the least of which is because they were sitting there, and I've seen a lot of speculation. They're not quite sure what the motivations of the gunman were. And you know, as we delve into the footage here, you'll see why I think that's a little bit strange, right? But also, this case in particular brings up a concern I have been bringing up for years, about the messages that are being sent to our young men and how they're actually far more harmful than the actual society itself could ever possibly be. But let's jump right up into it.
The mall shooting is causing anxiety among retailers who are already under tremendous strain due to rising crime. Retailers are worried that smash and grab robberies and now a mall massacre will drive shoppers away. Shopping malls are considered soft targets, meaning they're hard to protect and are vulnerable to acts of violence and terrorism. Now the National Retail Federation is pressuring lawmakers to do more to protect shoppers.
All options need to be on the table, including helping us with more security, doing more information sharing about risks, about robberies.
Meantime, there are new disturbing details about the Texas shooter. He identified as an incel, a young man who considers himself unable to attract women.
Now, here's the thing. Already I hear Okay. Let's be real. It's really the right wing. Already I hear people wanting to argue like as though this is some type of propaganda narrative. Okay. Now, I would like you guys to realize from jump that the reason why you're hearing pushback is not even because he's been identified as an incel. It's because he's been identified as having been a supporter or interested in certain right-winged content creators. For example, Tim Pool, right? So because of that, people want to distance themselves from the story while simultaneously, though, right? Also trying to change the narrative up or to outrightly question the narrative, right? I mean, come on, incel. What ideology does he even really have? And I mean, come on, does that have anything to do with his actions that day? I mean, in and of itself, and I'm not sure why it is that we have to keep having this argument, but in and of itself, it is the right-wing policy that allows this to happen. And I don't necessarily mean the development of the incel or the development of the incel turning violent and then doing all of this, right? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the insanely free access to weapons of mass destruction. Let's be real. That's what it is. Okay. When you can sit there and pull a trigger without even trying, without even thinking, without any practice, and slaughter dozens of people in an instant. Okay. That is mass destruction. And the fact that they won't even allow common sense gun control, despite how much gun violence has skyrocketed. It's crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. Okay, but, and I'm going to tell you though, there is something to be said for the message that is being sent to these men. They're not being told that there's anything to hope for. They're not being told that anything is going to go right for them, especially if they start finding black pill content like looks maxing and da-da-da and whatever, right? Again, we are going to get into some extra maxing stuff. Okay, we're going to actually do a whole deep dive expose on that, probably later on this month. But, you know, it comes down to when you think about this, right? This guy, what the hell did he have to hope for? Modern women were never going to choose him. He was never going to be rich enough. He was never going to be good enough. He gave up. And then once he gave up, this wasn't far behind for him. Listen to what they say. It's not just me. It's not just me. Let's continue listening.
I don't care about getting a girlfriend anymore because I don't believe women are capable to genuinely love a man. He also posted this photo with a waitress.
And how many spaces do we hear people saying this? Women are not capable of genuinely loving a man. Right? F and F make that like their damn banner all the time. Right? So young men who are desperate to just be loved and accepted and to be able to find like a forever wife, a forever home, a forever life. To be a proud husband, you know, who some wife is proud of, who some kids are proud of, who and basically he's sitting there being told like, no, sorry, bruh. It's not because you're young and you haven't finished developing yet and you haven't had enough time to self-actualize. It's not it. It's a modern woman. There's no hope. They'll never love you.
The caption reads, "How to Drive a Guy Crazy." Eric Toller is a researcher with the investigative reporting website Bellingcat. He says the shooter posted his disturbing profile on a Russian social network. As an incel, it appeared that he had vitriol or anger specifically toward women.
Yeah. He in one of his posts, you can tell he definitely was very bitter.
The shooter also posted shirtless photos with white power tattoos, including Nazi SS lightning.
Right. Okay. So they want to, again, we're not really sure what the ideology is. What's driving this man? We're not sure at all. Except for all the Nazi symbols that he had carved into his skin. Right. Except for all the posting he did on the Russian website. To very clearly detail what his main malfunctions were in life, right? Like, it's not complicated. This to me, how are we still not really sure what the ideology is, though? right? But we can't make laws specifically about this, right? Like we can't just say, hey, listen, if people like really, really, really hate Black people, this might be illegal. Can we do something about these super racists who also think it's okay to slaughter people? Can we maybe not give them guns? Even?
Bolts and a swastika. He also shared a photo of the Allen Outlet Mall and indicated he was tracking its busiest time, Saturday, the same day he opened fire.
But he did post on this very obscure, to an American audience, very obscure Russian social media site where no one else was reading. There's no content moderation. So it's basically hidden on the internet for all eyes who would care about this.
Meantime, America is embracing the lone survivor of the Cho family. The 6-year-old boy's parents and younger brother were all killed in the mass shooting. A GoFundMe has topped $1.4 million. A GoFundMe has also been set up for the mom and dad who lost their 2 precious daughters who love dressing like twins. The Mendoza family asks, please pray for our now broken family as the mom remains hospitalized with gunshot wounds.
I mean, I want y'all to think about this for a second, right? Because like the mall was that was the innocent place you could go. Like when you were a kid, let's say, even if you were like on like lockdown, right? You were allowed to go to the mall, because, you go shopping with your friends or whatever. You can't do that anymore. There's nowhere you can trust anymore. Nowhere is safe. And bitter, hurt people want to be bitter and hurt other people, make them equally bitter and hurt, right? So then what happens? Well, they want to, what's a place of innocence and joy? How do I ruin that? Everyone who was there that day, everyone paid a cost and is going to pay a cost for the rest of their lives. We have to do something. We have to do something. And I'm not sure at what point enough is going to be enough. Right? We can't change freedom of speech. We can't change the fact that mental health issues exist. And we can't change the fact that, hey, people are allowed to take away all your hope. They're allowed to do that. They are. It is sad that people who are supposed to be there to help these young men want to do it. But the point is that they're allowed to. So then, would they pick up a knife if that was the only thing they had at their disposal? Sure. It's a lot harder to slaughter multiple families with a knife without even trying. You have to be pretty committed. It's very different. Well, y'all, I guess more information. They'll continue doing their investigation. More information will come out. We'll see. I have no hope that they're going to do anything different because they never do. Because this is like, I've lost count how many of these have happened this year already. And the only one that galvanized anybody into movement was what? When a trans person picked up a gun. Right? But when a 16-year-old rings a doorbell and gets gunned down, when a cheerleader opens a door, the wrong car door, it gets gunned down. We're not concerned about that. Okay. Why should we change? Come on. And they say that they care so much about kids, though, right? They care so much. They care so much. Okay. Back at us.
Then 4 years you've been hanging in these YouTube streets. Congratulations, you just earned your bachelor's degree. You wanna clap them cheeks? You wanna clap them cheeks?
And can we just shout out Char Willie for the amazing song and the fact that she's rapping it, because that still tickles me. Of course, that is my favorite part of the song. I just know it off by heart. I love it because it really applies. And, you know, I do want to address the shooting thing as well. But first, I have to address the incel part of this, right? Because there's no shame or hate to incels. Incels and femcells are a reality. There's a lot of people who, you know, they're not select, as in when they're younger, right, before they hit their stride, and that might be in their 20s or even early 30s, right? There's other people who are going to get opportunities to date and mate and procreate, right? And there's just some people who just won't. They just won't. And it's just because they haven't developed. They haven't, socially developed. They haven't whatever, right? And then they will one day. And we used to teach people that either, hey, wait until you've come into your own and then you'll get better options, or you're a 3, get a 3, because that's your lane, right? Everyone who's a 3, y'all are in the same dating pool. You pick some 3s, y'all could be very happy. You're a 1, pick a 1, y'all could be very happy. We used to do that. Now, no, everyone wants a 10, right? And everyone wants to get 10 options, even though they don't look like 10s, and everyone's above being, a 5, because being average is somehow a problem now. And to the extent now where they are teaching young men, they're teaching young women that there's just no such thing as a femcel. You are a 10 and that's it. And if a guy turns you down, well, he's basically like abusive. Like, it's crazy what they're teaching young women. But what they're teaching young men is, bro, you were either born a Chad, you were born transvax, or you were born to die alone. And that's it. And that's what these crazy people that are going to, and shout out to my young nephew here, right? Because he's almost at that age category where he's going to start getting these messages in from, these influential men online, right? Like the Andrew Tates and the Fresh and Fits and the whatever. And so if that's what they're teaching you, that if you haven't, been successful with the ladies, or you haven't made $1 million yet, then you'll never make $1 million. And, just give up. Women will never love you. Women are incapable of real love, and blah, blah, blah. Why wouldn't he just give up and then want to retaliate or whatever, right? Like, it makes perfect sense to me, first of all. And second of all, to what DJ Music said. Now, I want y'all to just think about this for a second. I'm sorry, Zal. I am going to let you go, okay? I had to make the videos really short, which was hard for me, okay? I'm working on it. But okay, so y'all know I have problems. Anyway, so the thing is, right, with this whole thing, they love to go, yeah, well, listen, it's not the gun's fault. The gun didn't shoot people. The mentally ill people shoot people. Okay, well, I'm going to challenge you on this. Why is it so easy and in fact acceptable for mentally ill people at the age of 18, 19, 20, or at any age at all, to go into a store and buy guns and a whole bunch of bullets, like thousands of bullets? Why is that so easy to do, and then to be able to get it almost immediately, if not by the next day? Why is that so easy to do in so much of the country? Because that is a problem, right? You want to blame it on mental illness? No, I'm not going to blame it on mental illness, because here's the thing: the mentally ill person would not be able to go into a mall and shoot it down if they couldn't have access to a gun. Do you see the problem? Mental illness does happen, but why do they have access to a gun? They should never have been able to go into the gun store and buy it. There should be common sense gun control. And the more that the right wants to buck against that, the more you realize that, like, yeah, you really need some common sense. 199, guys. And there's been shootings since the Texas mall shooting. So it's over 200 now. There you go. 204. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Zal. I'm done.
By the way, I want y'all to understand something. Most of my brothers in here will understand what I'm about to say. When I saw a comment from Duntees that said they tell you have to run through 50 chicks before you figure them out, that's because they're tricks. The only way to get women is to spend money. So now to get money, they need the incel crowd. So you can tell they don't believe half what they say. Well, one does, because he probably part incel, because the girl didn't play with him in Halo. But they say this because they're tricks. Everything they do is about, hey, you get money, you get all the women. I'm like, I know a lot of poor pookies right now that got some women that they should not have. I'm talking about 6 figures, and they living in a house playing the son's PS5 the whole time. He be like, I don't want to get on the PS5. You're like, move out the way. I'll let you on in a minute. Like, you've been here the whole day. What are you doing? And now the young people see these dudes, and they have in their mind that already, if the first girl they really want don't talk to them, they have failed. Why? Because these people tell them they fail. Oh, I don't have money now, so of course I can't get her. That's the reason she didn't want me. Maybe she just didn't like you. Maybe that's it.
Right.
So now I feel like I don't have a shot, and I don't settle because I'm high value. Sir, what makes you high value? We talking about that Monday because they couldn't answer either because they just make it up. It doesn't exist. It's a made up term unless you're talking about real percentage what society deems. But what they deem is just made up because they need you to think you're high value too, or they don't make money.
Mm-hmm.
It's all a game, and then leading to these more of these people, incels who goes around who thinks the world against them. Now they depressed. I keep telling people like, the woke agenda is making people mentally ill. Y'all ain't seen nothing. This doomer incel behavior is gonna make a lot of dudes. Cause once they find out they never making $1 million, it's good luck. That's all. Once they figure out they're never making that $1 million, you gotta realize only what 0.8% ever reach like $1 million, 0.7 something, round off to 0.8, only ever make $1 million ever. And most people make 50,000. So good luck. The average in US is $50,000. So
Right. And if you're not one of the first 3 people in the Ponzi scheme, you're not making money, right? So like it's like
I also saw Jon Stewart tell a story. He was talking to his senator. And he was telling him about why we don't have at least, not telling you to take the guns away, at least background checks. He's like, background checks are infringement. He's like, to vote, what do you have to have? Background check. So to vote in this country, you have to have a background check. But to get a gun, you shouldn't. He's like, yeah, the voting is not a right. And I'm like, he's like, yes, it is a right. We literally made it a right to vote. It's called the right to vote.
Right.
So you either gotta go with, he's like, you just make up things just to fit your narrative.
Yes.
Just say you're getting paid by the NRA and you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, that's literally, you can go and just listen to these people that, again, the Texas shooter listened to, like Tim Pool. In fact, he made sure to give props to Tim Pool, right? And listen to them make stuff up. They literally lie. In fact, maybe we can do it at some point. I know it's kind of a little bit behind now, but with the whole subway, the subway military guy chokehold for 15 minutes death thing. If you listen to Tim Pool's lies, he's just blatant. He will blatantly say things that he knows are lies. You can see it in his face. He knows that it's a lie, and it's hypocritical because it's different than something he said yesterday. Right? It's just in a different context. They don't care. They don't. Look at Tucker Carlson. He doesn't care. He's been on 3 different stations. He's had 3 different, completely radically different viewpoints on the world. Just based on the day he walks into CNN, this is what he believes. Now he's at MSNBC, this is what he believes. Now he's at Fox News, this is what he believes. He will change what he believes like this. The man thinks that Trump is literally like a demon. Okay, he thinks that Trump supporters are morons, and he will get on to his TV show every day and tell them how brilliant they are and how Trump is God. Okay, the right is really, really shifty. Okay, they're really shifty people, and I find it's tragic how much of that conservative shiftiness and shadiness has taken over so many different movements, including the manosphere. I think it's really problematic.
All these people, they just in it for money, and the easiest way to get money is to convince y'all that y'all are sheep, which y'all are. Y'all, most people follow the leader, and whoever sounds the most convincing gets in charge of them. I'm not civil rights movement. If you know me, I don't know how much Ruby know. I do not like certain people in that group. One son, his son was the mayor of Chicago, and he was stealing money. Of course, makes sense, perfect. The other one probably been stealing money from his non-profits forever. His daddy, Jesse Jackson. I like Jesse. I still tell people I think Jesse Jackson snitched on the location. I'm just saying. Money make everybody go. Till it's presented to you, you won't know how you act either. That's why I always tell people be careful. But these people, they do not care. Hey, it must be the money. Shout out to Shar. Speaking of Ruby, got anything else before we go into some black excellence? Yeah, I use my man cave because Ruby forgot to upload the black excellence one in the queue chat.
No, it's uploaded.
Oh,
You just didn't. You just don't remember. You don't remember that I had to put it in the LB that Dropbox, and that I asked you to move them over, and you didn't move them over. I saw that today.
Well, I'll move them over. Well, let's say we got the man cave one. Shout out to everybody.
Okay.
Not this one again. I keep clicking on. I just uploaded. Here's a story near and dear to my heart. College. And for my family, HBCU. I didn't graduate from an HBCU. I graduated from the University of Southern Miss, which is probably the only PWI to ever, well, in my area, at least in the South, to ever have a predominantly black majority for a year. They made sure to change that when they raised rates of everything and gave out a little few less scholarships. So they want to make sure they changed that. But this story is near and dear because, like I said, most of my family went to HBCU. This is very important to me. Shout out to PBS News for this report. We're going to go back a little bit. We're going to skip around, but the link in the main video will be in the description, telling you about the new initiative that aims to boost graduation rates at historically black colleges. This is important to me and a lot of other people. So let's listen, and I'm going to tell y'all a story so y'all get to know me a little better during this video.
We are resilient.
The Crown Forum at Morehouse College in Atlanta is part lecture series, part pep rally. The weekly assembly is a celebration of an all-male institution renowned for producing black leaders, known as Morehouse Men, from Spike Lee to Martin Luther King Jr.
And now you're graduates. You'll be moving forward.
We visited as the school recognized its soon-to-be graduating seniors. A week before we arrived, Morehouse honored one senior with a brand new award.
The Dean Darden Academic Resilience Award is being presented to Mr. Roland Bland.
Resilience to overcome all the things that life threw at him.
I got on academic probation after my first semester. During that summer.
Fun story about me. I'm just going to say that here. Transformative content. And I'm going to tell a little bit about the story later on and go over another part of it. But I, too, was on academic probation. Oh, my God. I know you might not look at me the same. But, yes, I was. And I was on it for probably 2 years. I always made enough to get through. But I'm going to explain the reason. The reason was high school, I wasn't too interested in the opposite sex. Had a lot of female friends, but wasn't into it that much. I was more into trying to get to the football, NFL, actually get good at football, and then had a strict mother who made sure I got my grades. But it wasn't really that hard because I had photographic memory. So I really got away with doing a lot, but most times I focused on the things I want. Worked out twice a day. So I end up being sore most of the time. Like I'll do, like, for instance, we do legs or something. So when I got to college, it was more, okay, these are people I didn't grow up with. It wasn't like a friendship. And I'm kind of rocking with it. And they like the personality. Again, being around female friends and cousins your whole life, you kind of get the feel for them. So it was kind of a lot easier to maneuver around in college. So the first 2 years was mostly, yeah. We're not going to tell too much now, but yeah. So, and I ended up on academic probation. And so I'm going to tell the rest of that story after we get to the point needed in this video.
Summer, my grandfather passed away. My grandfather raised me. When that happened, I decided to take time off from school and be there for my family. I came back smooth sailing, and then COVID-19 hits. Going back to school.
I don't know how y'all did COVID-19. If you went to school during COVID-19, shout out to y'all. I just want to say that. Shout out to y'all. That's amazing. That is very hard to do. But at the same time, I do want to make sure I put this out there. It was times I didn't even go to class. Like I'm talking about, I forgot I had biology 101, and I literally forgot I had the class. It was every Tuesday and Thursday, and it was at like 9 o'clock. And I literally forgot I even had that class. But on the first test, I literally made like 100, so I ended up with a D in the class. Yeah, college was interesting.
School online, I don't know if that's for me, and I decided to take some more time off of school.
So when you came back, what were the challenges?
Taking time out of school is
kind of
hard.
Getting yourself focused, getting yourself in class, doing the work, doing it on time, not being distracted.
I started to visit the academic center, the Frederick Douglass Academic Center, actually taking the time to learn how to study. Right when I got here, I was still immature. I wasn't really taught the skills on how to study and how to retain that knowledge.
Bland learned those skills through a new initiative at Morehouse, the Student Success Program. In partnership with the United Negro College Fund and the education firm Inside Track, the initiative identifies students whose GPA falls under a 2.0 and intervenes with one-on-one academic coaching, tutoring, and workshops.
The fact that they have a writing center that anybody can go to, the fact that they have tutoring sessions that anybody can attend, and the tutoring sessions are tailored to your major and your class that you're taking. Those are very important.
Versions of this pilot program that started at 9 HBCUs have expanded to more than 30 schools with funding through 2026, aimed at helping students like Roland graduate. It comes at a time when enrollment at historically black colleges and universities is growing, and more students are applying. But the sad reality is that only 38% of students at those schools end up graduating. Even at an elite institution like Morehouse, the rate is only a little more than half. So what happens?
I do want to bring this up. This is the only part I want to watch. I'm gonna go over the video. It's a lot more. It's a few more examples. They explain it a little more, but basically it's a tutoring program. It's just repeating from the head people what they're saying. But I used to say college was a scam. I admit it. I said it. I said it. But once you get a little older, most of you probably start to understand this once you get your degree. Once you're 10 years in, you start realizing how much more money you actually start making just because you got a degree, that you can actually demand more money. For instance, at a job that you just had experience working, they say I would have worked 10 years if I didn't go to college, and I end up working 6 years. By the time I'll be end up making $10,000, $20,000 more dollars, and easy to get a promotion because I had a degree, even if it's not even that field. A lot of people have degrees that's not in their field, but because you got an education, they'll actually respect it more, and you can actually demand more money in the country. You don't really learn that in your early 20s, and it seems like a scam because you work in an entry-level job, or most of the time, unless you're in a specific skill job, that you don't understand. And the second big thing is about this is they don't teach you what college is, which this program seems to do. It gives you access to things that you probably not used to have, especially most of our people from the hoods. You don't really have like support system to teach you how to study, so most of the time it's off memory. So when you go to college and have to do these strange reports, and it's completely on your own because college don't care about assisting you unless you have one of these programs. Unless you go find it yourself, you can find it. There are programs, a lot of people, but you have to sign up for it, but they don't have no advertising for it. You literally have to go beg a person to hope that the person there actually wants to tell you about it so they don't have to do work. But most of the time, college is about doing that, get your grades, so the higher your GPA, the more likely you can get paid at your entry level job. And the second thing is networking. Going to tailgates at the football game and meeting the vice president of Bank of America is way more valuable than even getting a degree. I'm gonna say y'all that now. I had a friend that started off as a manager and didn't even graduate. He got a manager job just because he met somebody at a tailgate at my business college tailgate. And the guy liked him so much, he just let him be a manager because he had like 2 years of education from Southern Miss. So the guy got a managerial job right away. Now, if he would have finished a degree, he probably can demand more and maybe get to a regional manager of AutoZone. But it helps out a lot. Just doing that network and meeting people, having that frame of reference Just like I'm saying, go to these events and you meet the random president of the Bank of America, well, vice president of Bank of America, and then they giving you a referral to a job. Imagine that. Listen, I know so and so. Here his number. He referred him a job. You in the door, and little things like that, little networking like that, being able to get, even if it's not even something big like that, just a local job. You can even probably get a job before you even go to college if you do certain things. But that's the important thing of college. But you never taught that. You don't. They don't teach you what networking is. So that's why I want to spend my time here to tell you. When you're in college, find programs, network, go look for those scholarships in that business office, whatever your major is. Go in that business office and go ask because they got some. Whether it's a low end student 2.0, you can maybe get in my school Steve McNair scholarship that gives you thousands of dollars. Or you can have, if you're doing the 4.0, you can go get an amazing scholarship because they have millions of dollars that go free because no one signs up for them because they don't advertise. They don't put them out there and not telling you online. They're not even put, the storyboard in the hallway. They don't even put it there. Usually they're supposed to put it by where the concession stand and thing, but they don't put it there. They don't care. They don't want to do that work. So you have to go find it. So I'm encouraging you right now, telling you to do that. And by the way, college is not for everybody. You'll be a C student. I know the Ebony K. Williams thing we talking about, but listen, if it's not for you and you that be a C student, learning a trade is a lot of money. Like if you know how to fix air conditioners, you can charge whatever. There is no one fixing air conditioners. So you are a hot commodity right now. You will have a niche job. So if you get one of those skills, welding or something like that, you can make money too. I encourage all of that. Know your strengths. The biggest thing as a human being is to know your strengths. And this thing also shows you know your strengths. Okay, this program is literally for people that's what 62% of people who don't graduate. It's literally for them. You know you're not this, so go in this program and accept it and learn how to study, learn how to do certain things. And focus up. That's the only thing. That's my thing. Ruby, tell me your thoughts. Zell, let me know any other thoughts you have on this. This is valuable information that should always be shared. I do appreciate this story. Shout out to James Charles for this story. My guy did his job with this, and I appreciate it. We out.
Well, this is what I think. And I mean, re-enrollment, I mean, this kind of seems like common sense, but here's the thing, right? So I'm going to use my mom as an example. Mama Rube, shout out to you. You're a perfect example for this. So now when she was a little bit younger, she went to college / university, right? And she was like a semester away really from graduating. So like she was like a lot of credits away from graduating. She was pretty close to graduating, getting her bachelor's, but she didn't do it. And when we're talking about now, a few decades later, when she decided she wanted to return to school, it was for something completely different, right? So like her undergrad was like in nursing, right? But what she wanted to do is go back to school and get her master's, right? In essence, in psychology, right? She wanted to be a therapist. And so what they did is they worked with her and they said, okay, well, actually, based on your undergrad, right? Based on what you did already, you mostly fulfill the requirements, right? And I think that that's what really needs to happen. A lot of people, we force these kids to make these massive decisions about where they're going and what their whole entire lives are going to be at 16, 17, 18 years old. They don't know, right? And then they know it's like this massive debt that's hanging over them. And then they know it's hard to get jobs in your field, and then it's impossible to pay off the debt. And it's like, it becomes this major thing. So I think a lot of times people get 2-3 years in and they go, I hate this. I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. And I don't want to be in any more debt. In a career I have no intentions of ever following through on. So then I just have this degree, but for what? What's the point? Right. And so I feel like being able to add value to the education they've already gotten, right? Or to, hey, like, listen, it's very easy to get from what you were in communications before. Now you want a degree that's, sciencey, so you could go into, I don't know, something useful. Hey, this is what we could do with you, right? With these simple classes, no extra time or whatever, you're going to be able to get a degree in this, right? And I think that literally offering people that information, like from high school onwards, right? And making it really accessible. You can switch majors. It's possible. Hey, you used to do something and now it's basically obsolete. That's what you were following, was an obsolete path. Hey, let's help you. So that way you don't have to start again from scratch, right? So I think that this sounds like it's got legs, right? Like, it sounds like to me this could be a good option. I just want to see how it's going to play out, like how they're actually going to implement it now.
You got mentors and situations. They say they got mentors at these colleges now. People don't know this. Having a mentor to tell you what classes to take could be huge.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes you're not ready. You take a certain professor, you find out that she does not care. You will get no help. Versus this other professor that's amazing. I didn't learn that till my senior year. Just got friends with certain people. They go, hey, listen, this professor, devil, this one, he's cool. He'll help you. You need something, he got you. Programs, all that stuff. And you got to search it for yourself in college. That's the one thing. You are truly, for the first time, most time on your own. So if you find a good mentor or a good program that can help you, it'll make your life a lot easier.
Oh, yeah.
Because your freshman, you might be like me and you'll just run around and but gotta have a Thursday class called Biology 101. Completely. And never go to it and be like, what's this grade in this class? I didn't even know I took this class. Thank God I made 100 on that first exam, so I got out with a D.
Oh, there you go. Lucky.
But I forgot I had that class at all. I didn't even know. That was my time to go to the we call the fountain and flirt with girls that came.
Productive.
Yes, very productive.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of production, we have a food dump from yours truly, not yours truly, the one and only Ruby. I'm trying to take credit for Ruby stuff, y'all. Let's go to it. Hopefully,
this is a good one. Now, y'all, I don't even know. I don't know what is happening here, okay? These are technically two totally unrelated stories from two different countries, Canada and the US. But this is some weird-ish. And when you pair it all together, is it more connected than they realize? I don't know. Well, let us take a look at the stories first and foremost before we talk about that.
Theme, Richard, starting with one that's positively puzzling.
This is a wild one. Down in New Jersey, they found, Melissa, tons of soggy cooked pasta dumped in a remote wooded area. Look at that.
What? What's that all about?
Right. Why?
Well, they don't exactly know. Local officials say they have so far removed 1/4 ton of the pasta, and it's all different types too. There's spaghetti, there's macaroni, even some ziti in there. No one knows who dumped it or why, though the area has been known as a bit of a dumping ground before, just not for pasta. You know who I think police should put an APB out for, Melissa?
Who?
A Mr. Al Dente. He might be involved in that. Look for him.
Wow.
Well, that's extra cheesy, I guess, for the top of the pasta. Maybe a
just
big
like
jar
your
of
jokes.
marinara sauce.
Extra cheesy, bro.
Sounds like a good
What
date.
is that? Okay, and so just so you know, okay, there has been an update in the story, and apparently we do know the culprit. Now, what they say is that there isn't a local dump in this particular city. And so as a result, people have taken to dumping their own refuse in this particular area. I mean, I'm hoping they only dump organic stuff in their forests and whatnot, but apparently that is what happened. And in the case of, well, why so many massive piles of pasta? Well, what happened is a man had been cleaning out his mother's house because his mother had passed away, and he found, like the old school mothers, they have those giant pantries full of so much stuff, right? And so he found a whole bunch of really old, expired, not good anymore foods, like the pasta and whatever. So he unboxed them and dumped them. I guess maybe he thought it would, I don't know. But now they said that this is uncooked. And I don't know about y'all, man. I mean, if you just leave pasta to just sit in water, like immersed in water, it doesn't get this cooked looking, in my opinion. And it's not sitting in water. Now, apparently it is near the river. Or is it lake? No, I think it's river. It's near the water though, right? And so they're saying that the pasta was dumped raw, and then because it's near the river, moisture, rain, whatever, that's what's caused it to kind of look cooked like this. I don't know. But now we move to my neck of the woods, okay? Where okay, so basically what they are doing, okay, in my city of Mississauga, is they are warning people to not feed wildlife after more meat was found in the park. That is right. That image right here is not the first in case of someone dumping raw, perfectly edible meat in the park. Okay, so 2 large pieces of red meat were found in Settlers Green Park at 5800 Montevideo Road in Meadowvale on April 20th. A City of Mississauga spokesperson tells Insaga.com. The meat may have been left for wild animals like coyotes, foxes, and other rodents. But feeding wild animals can do more harm than good, the city said in a Facebook post on May 4th. Issues with feeding wild animals include spreading disease, territory disputes over food and habitat, safety concerns for humans and pets, and damage to property and attracting rodents. I don't know. Like, how many people do you know are like, you know what I want to do? I want to feed the coyotes today. Like, what? I don't know. So if you came to this area, if you came to Mississauga, right? Meadowvale is my area. So you came to this area. What you would see is that, like, we're not like this wildlife conservation where, hey, no, we're like, even though we're the suburbs, we're very city. Okay. We're not really trying to play with animals like that. Like when some type of wild dog, like a coyote or whatever, right, started appearing in the forest in that area about a decade back or so, people stopped walking down the path, just period. Because they were just so scared. Like, we are not animal people like that. So I don't know who would be like, you know what? We need more of wild lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. Like, what? Like, no. And then Settlers Green is a grade school, okay, which is important to note. And it's on a series of paths that pass by a bunch of other grade schools. And, in an aging, like, I can't see this explanation doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense to me. Okay. Now, to be clear, okay, they do admit that they do not know the actual motivation, okay, for why the meat was left. But they did want people to know that if it was to feed the animals, that you might actually be doing the opposite. And the reason why is because the foods most people provide are usually not as diverse or nutritionally complete as what they'd find in the wild, which can lead to malnutrition and even starvation. And when wild animals become dependent on poor quality artificial food sources, they can starve or lose their ability to search for food naturally. Big problem. This isn't the first time meat has been found in Settlers Green Park, as I said earlier. In March, okay, not that long ago, large beef roasts, ground beef, and pulled pork, in addition to piles of chicken, were dumped in the park. Fortunately, this most recent incident appears to be isolated, as there hasn't been any meat found in the park since April 20th. What are they talking about? So, it's May. Like, it's not like it's been 6 months, bro. It's been like 2 weeks. Okay? So it was like March, they dumped so much meat. And then April, they dumped more meat. Like May's here, it hasn't even been a month yet. They're doing a monthly drop off of something. I don't know what is happening. And I don't know why anyone's feeling like this is isolated. Like, this is the problem. This is 100% the problem. Because people don't want to acknowledge when there's like clearly a connection. Like, they won't even acknowledge that the raw meat drop offs at Settlers Green Park might all be connected. Like, they don't want, like, no, that's just the thing that people do. Like, you've never heard of humans doing this? Buying expensive meat from the grocery store and then dropping it off in the middle of a park somewhere? Just dropping it on the ground and walking away? Like, in these times where inflation on food is insane and where the cost of most of those meats in Canada right now is through the roof, and you want to say, oh, probably not connected, though. Okay. Now, is there something to the theory that all of the meat dumpings in this one basically nowhere park are probably connected? I would say almost 100%. Like, I'm willing to not even add allegedly connected. Okay, no, they are 100% connected. 100%. It's ridiculous to assert anything else. Between March, okay, and April, no, 100%. These are connected. These are not table scraps, whatever. People are purchasing these things in whole and dropping them off. These are connected 100%. Fine. Okay. But now my assertion is, well, they're dropping the meat off in Mississauga, and then in New Jersey, they're dropping the carbs off. And it's like, what is going on? If we keep digging, are we going to find somewhere that's dropping off the vegetables? Would we even notice if they did? Because, you know, vegetables are like kind of supposed to be in nature. I don't know. But it seems like, I feel like there's an organized plan here. I feel like we need to keep our eyes open, y'all. And the truth is going to be revealed. Stay tuned. I'm gonna dig. I will dig into this, and we will reveal the truth together. Right, Sal? You have a problem. You need to stop clicking that what, like, why? It's like, it's not even there.
I'm gonna move it up to the top because it's right next to the other one. I accidentally clicked.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
I moved it out of the space.
There you go. Really so for the last quarter, you're hilarious.
Hey,
but
listen, the Karen story wants to show. It wants to play. It will. It want to wait. It gotta wait its turn.
It's got to wait its turn. Exactly. So now in the meantime, okay, what do you think, first of all, of Mississauga trying to pretend like the massive amounts of meat over the last few months being dropped off in the same little park next to a grade school, a tiny little grade school, an insignificant area, right? What do you think about them pretending that there's no connection? Like, it's like, just random. It's just random acts of meat dumping that's happening.
Listen. It is like once something is continuous. Like, if it were just different areas, it might just be some random dude who random people just doing it, whatever. But when it's in the same spot, it has to be a reason, right? They doing it specifically for a reason. Is it like it's like some teachers, like not the cafeteria workers just throwing out food every day? Is it like they just want to get rid of this food? It's old and they just keep throwing it away, or is it new? I don't know. It's a reason why it's around this specific school. Is it a homeless man there that somebody's trying to sneak and feed? I don't know Canada's laws, but
it's raw. It's raw food.
No, you can't. I don't know what it is. Maybe they just this cafeteria got old food and they have too much, so they just throws it out. I don't know. It's strange.
Right? But then you've got the pasta, right? And they came up with their little plausible explanation, but I don't know. To me, it doesn't look like it looks like the pasta was cooked. Maybe not thoroughly, but definitely looks like it was cooked. And I'm like, even if like some dude, like, why, dude, if you found this in your mom's basement, I understand the town doesn't have a dump or whatever, right? But you found this in your mom's like old pantry or basement. it's one thing for you to have taken it and like, I don't know, dumped it, but like he took all of the boxes, he opened every single box, right? And every single thing and emptied the pasta out just all over the place, like dozens and dozens of boxes of pasta. Like what? What do you think about that part of the story?
Maybe he's an idiot. He thinks it's like feeding the homeless or something. Like, oh, they find a microwave by the fire or something. Maybe somebody's stupid. I don't know. People are stupid. I used to be like, people are like, they wouldn't do nothing that lack common sense like that. Yeah, they would. 100% would. They'll justify anything. I've seen people justify whatever.
That's true.
I've seen people
That is
justify Donald Trump being one of the greatest Christians since Jesus. And I'm like, he said he never repented. And like, so? I'm like, that's literally what the Bible says you have to do to become a Christian. And he's like, I never repented because I don't have to. If I ever have to, I'll do it. I'm like, so you're not a Christian. But they'll defend anything. They'll do anything. People don't have common sense. They just get out there in their head and they do it. Maybe he think he can. Maybe he think they'll pick it up. I don't know. If he took it out though of the box and threw it out, I don't think he thought it would help. Maybe somebody's just a jerk.
Yeah, I don't know. If anyone else, I'm gonna keep my finger on this one because I don't know. I just think this is really strange. I've never heard of anything quite like it. The fact that it happened in New Jersey, and also in Mississauga, two completely different countries, massive dumps of food, but like not normal. Like this is not normal. I don't know. It's weird. I'm gonna follow up on this. But I mean, there's lots of not normal stuff in the world. So I don't know. Maybe we should talk about something else that's not so normal.
Well, I got a couple stories that's not so normal. Well, one of them shouldn't be normalized, and the other two are completely not normal. And that's the story of our guy, a rapper named Freddie Gibbs. And I got a little after I made this video. We got a little more information, so I'll talk about that after. I want to know Ruby's thoughts on that.
Then for years you've been hanging in these YouTube streets. Congratulations, you just earned your bachelor's degree. You wanna clap them cheeks? You wanna clap them cheeks?
Welcome to the story of Freddie Gibbs. For y'all that don't know Freddie Gibbs is a rapper in the vein of a, let's say, Joe Budden, early 2000s type. Except he doesn't have the hit like Pump It Up. But he is a very good rapper. Same thing with Joe. And he also causes trouble. He also gets in fights, has massive beefs with media companies, and blah, blah, blah. Vein of Joe Budden. That's who Freddie Gibbs is. But Freddie Gibbs is a wild boy. To the point he has gotten a nickname, Spreadie Gibbs, following his ex-girlfriend's graphic photo clips. My mans, what are you doing, my mans? Let's talk about Freddie Gibbs is the subject of thousands of tweets following his purported ex-girlfriend's social media tirade. The Alfredo rapper started trending on Friday after an apparent Destiny Creams accused Gibbs of dropping her when she got pregnant with their child. The situation quickly spiraled out of control, with the woman claiming Gibbs sent her a graphic photo still in her possession. In the accusation, she casually tweeted, "Blocking me on Twitter while I have a picture of you spreading your in my phone is insane. I'ma spare them that one though." Sir, what? Blocking me? This is. Do not search this woman. Don't search this. For some twisted women, the woman was asked numerous times to post a photo, but she refused. Y'all, I'm not posting that pic. I was just in a silly, goofy mood. Stop asking. Wait. Let me find out you, Nick. Let me find out you done teasing y'all ain't. Y'all bet. I know y'all ain't. Y'all my boy. Y'all random people coming in here to watch this video. Let me find out y'all in them Twitter comments talking about show me the pic. Let me find out. Y'all see. Let me find out. Women too, let me find out. Y'all freaks. Gibbs has been relatively silent on Twitter, posting just 2 comments that appear to relate to the situation. I ain't have a phone, he wrote, which was followed by a series of laughing emojis. As for the woman, she was nowhere near finished. She seemed highly offended. People were questioning why she wanted to give Gibbs baby, knowing he wasn't ready. Why'd you keep his baby, she wrote. Because this is my baby too. This is a baby we literally playing. My heart was in it. I'm pro-choice. But I could not go through the procedure knowing I purposely brought this baby here. My child will be taken care of regardless. When someone says she should have taken the plan B, do we really live in a world where women can only want their baby if the father's involved too? I can't keep my baby. Isn't this whole situation messy? We ain't even going to the whole situation. But let's go with some of the tweets. We can't show that one. This is interesting. Yeah, we got, it's not even 10 a.m.s and on Twitter calling Freddie Gibbs Spreadie Gibbs. Here's the name, Spreadie Gibbs. Freddie Gibbs was my favorite rapper at one point. Interesting. Did Freddie Gibbs was your favorite rapper? Fair. DJ Academics find out Freddie Gibbs is trending. For y'all that don't know, DJ Academics is the one of the major media entities that Freddie Gibbs has been beefing with for like 3 years. I did a report on my Over on 99 channel on how they were going at it. Like I said, Freddie Gibbs has nothing to lose, so Act was for the first time in a losing situation. He's usually the winner in them situations because the rappers have something to lose. He don't. Freddie Gibbs did not. I learned way too much about Freddie Gibbs in the last 12 hours. Don't let it piss his spread is wide open. Freddie Gibbs did what? These just some tweets. He did, however, respond to this. Let me. I did find some things he said, but I didn't find the rest of it. So, but I'll give y'all it right here because I did find a tweet. He called her, she liked mud pies. So I'm like, okay, it's like nothing to brag about. I'm like, okay, that's weird. But the big story on this is what happened after, which I want to get into this more than I cared about what I had at the end. DJ Academics and her has an agreement in which that so far it's appearing that he is paying her $10,000 to name the child. And I was like, oh, your op is paying $10,000 to name the child. I don't know if she's gonna agree to it, but if he named that child Spreadie, his last name is Gibbs, that would be very interesting. Or he can name his son after his own name, which would be Livingston, which is crazy. Like naming your son after your top op is crazy. All I want y'all to understand from this is be careful who y'all with. She's a porn star for y'all that don't know. And she actually did a shoot recently with Adam 22 from No Jumper. For y'all that don't know what it is, he's also one of Academic's friends. So she's like pregnant and doing this. Be careful who you get pregnant. Especially if you're a semi-successful rapper, you should probably choose better. But hey, people like what they like. If they like they're freaky, they like they're freaky. Ruby, your thoughts on Spreadie?
Honestly, I don't really think it's all that like funny. I guess I don't know. To me, it's just like we like to, especially in the Black community, we really like to shame each other for our having any type of preference or pleasure, interest, or whatever. But like it is what it is. Like the things. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I don't care. My whole message was be careful who you date because she is vengeful right now.
Yeah, right. But like, that's the whole thing. Like, the only reason why her vengefulness matters is because of how much we are willing as a community to kink shame people, or just like even just base level shame people to like the point where we will ruin people's whole entire lives, earning potential, whatever, over stuff. And let's be clear that people in the community, we will kink shame each other or shame each other for stuff that we are doing. So we will denormalize things that we are actually doing ourselves. And then it's like, it's like this whole thing where it's like you're always having to live under a shroud of like secrecy and whatever and shame and risk and whatever. And it's all because you're part of upholding the same culture that, just doesn't allow people to just live, right? That's the one thing I got to say about a lot of other cultures. Not all of them, but a lot of them, right? A lot of them in Asia, a lot of, or that, descent from Asia, a lot of white folks, right? They don't have these problems. You would never have this discussion about, because you'll be like, yeah, I had like a finger up my poop chute or whatever. Like they'll just say it. They don't care. They don't care. Right. And why should they? It feels good. A lot of people like it. So what? Right. Like we come from a culture, right, where Black men around the Caribbean, for example, would never admit to liking to give oral, right? Because and actually women would never admit to having received it. That is how much we shame for nothing. Like it's crazy. So like to me, when I hear this kind of story, I'm like, honestly, it's kind of like the same thing like when people are like, oh, with the whole like trans woman thing, they're like, oh my God. And I'm like, who cares? Like, why do you care? Like, why does anyone care? Why do you care? Why do you care? Why do you care? I don't care. I don't care at all. I don't care. Sleep with vengeful people. Sleep with whoever you want. Listen, if you are into, as long as who you're into is a consenting adult, don't care. Don't care.
Like I don't care either, but it look funny. Like picture of dude like his feet together. I was like, hey, listen, love what you love. Be careful. People try to hurt you. She out here getting your ops to name your kid. That's hurtful. That's the one I really want to get into. I didn't know if I was gonna do this story or the what's name story, but the other story wasn't kind of quite interesting. But this one, like, it's a lesson in this that I can use. And the lesson is be careful you date because if she out here trying to get paid by your ops and doing interviews and having some of your rapper friends and everybody try to do videos on you, she is out to try to hurt you in any way she thinks she can. Shout out to him, like I said, shout out to him for having like a comedic approach to it. But also be careful. People, if they know they can try to ruin, he a rapper, so you know how that can affect your career. You know, I don't know how much it affects him. People who use anything like, oh, if you ain't got street cred, it's over with for you, and I can hurt your pockets. If you do what I want. And he even said it, like, listen, I don't want to date you no more. That's it. I just want to take care of my kid. We can co-parent or do whatever. I'm like, but be careful who you date, because people out here vengeful, especially clout formers who've been clout forming for a long time, which she has.
Yeah, that's not the most dangerous kind of person. Sorry. In fact, my next story 100% proves that is far less dangerous than the alternative that some other populations are dangerous for. Let's check it out.
Bless your heart.
Some people are simply flagrant, okay? And when I say flagrant, I mean they have no problem flashing their wealth, their fortune, their crimes in everyone's faces and profiting off of them even. Right? I mean, come on. Some people would suggest that the West was basically built off of this kind of person. Well, today we're about to talk about yet another. I want you guys here, right? You're seeing here. I want you to meet Corey Richens and her husband, well, her late husband, Eric Richens. Okay? Now, Corey Richens is a Utah mom. After she lost her late husband, Eric Richens, well, she decided to write a children's book on how to deal with loss. Not even kidding. Now she's accused of murdering him. Yeah. Alright, so I want you guys to keep your focus on the lovely couple, though, right? So let's take a look at how this all played out. Now, this Utah widow and mom of 3 who recently published a children's book on coping with the loss of a loved one following the death of her supposed beloved husband is now accused of murdering him. Well, according to court documents obtained by People, Corey Richens of Kamas, Utah, is charged with 1 count of first-degree aggravated murder and 3 counts of possession of a controlled substance with the intent to distribute, in connection with the death of Eric Richens. So Richens' attorney, Sky Lazaro, did not immediately respond to people's request for comment. In fact, it's unclear if Richens has even entered pleas to the charges. Prosecutors allege that on March 3rd, 2022, Richens, 33, laced Eric's drink with a lethal amount of fentanyl. He was pronounced dead hours later. Now this one's interesting, and shout out to Char Willie for sending in this suggestion, okay? I am personally fascinated. And we're not done with the story yet, but just right there in and of itself, I mean, it kind of seems like an open and shut case. Like, how did you get away with it long enough to write a children's book? Right? Okay, let's keep looking. So prosecutors allege that on March 3rd, 2022, okay, March 3rd, 2022, Richens says she didn't make him a fentanyl drink. No, she prepared her husband a Moscow Mule that night, and it was to celebrate a real estate deal for her business. Now, shortly after he consumed the drink in the couple's bedroom, Richens claimed she went to sleep with her child, who was experiencing night terrors. When she came back to their room, she said she found Eric, 39, unresponsive and called 911. He was pronounced dead shortly after. Now, citing the medical examiner, prosecutors say Eric died of a fentanyl overdose. An autopsy indicated he had approximately 5 times the lethal amount in his system. Last time I checked, that's not how they make a Moscow Mule. Investigators obtained search warrants and seized the family's electronic devices, during which they discovered several text communications between Richens and an acquaintance she was allegedly buying drugs from, the documents state. Do you see what I mean by flagrant? Flagrant. Okay, like, bruh. Okay. Investigators interviewed the acquaintance, who said Richens purchased hydrocodone from them sometime between December 2021 and February 2022. Now, weeks later, Richens allegedly reached back out to the acquaintance asking for a more potent drug. Some of the Michael Jackson stuff, the acquaintance said Richens told them. Of course, some of the Michael Jackson stuff. I mean, damn, if it could kill Michael Jackson, it could kill anybody, right? I mean, that's clearly what she was thinking. All right. Richens then allegedly obtained 15 to 30 fentanyl pills worth $900 on February 11, 2022. On Valentine's Day of 2022, Eric and Richens had dinner at their home. After consuming a sandwich, Eric became ill and broke out in hives. He told a friend he believed his wife had poisoned him, according to the documents. Valentine's Day. Okay. Bruh, if you think your wife poisoned you, I mean, like, for real, because I'm like a paranoid MFer, okay? Sometimes I think everyone's trying to kill me, real talk. But if I really believed you were trying to poison me, why would you continue to live there? Like, not trying to blame the victim at all. But I'm just saying, ladies and gentlemen, if you're living with someone and you get very, very, very ill, okay? If you get very, very, very ill and you are living with someone, please, and you think that they poisoned you for real, please, move the hell out of there. What the hell's wrong with you? Anyways, so on February 26th of 2022, Richens allegedly bought another $900 worth of fentanyl. Less than a week later, Eric died, according to the documents. Now, citing a search warrant, KSL TV reports Eric's family suspected Richens was responsible for his death all along. He suspected she was responsible for his death before he died, so yeah, go figure. He warned them that if anything happened to him, she was to blame. The warrant states, per the station, Eric's sister told investigators Richens gave Eric a drink while the couple was on vacation in Greece a few years before his death. Afterwards, he became ill, and he told his sister he believed Richens had poisoned him. Oh my God, he should have left 3 years ago. See, this is part of the issue, right? Sometimes we see good where there is no good, right? We want to give credit where no credit is due. And when you've got a demographic of people, let's just say women, let's just say women, right? And everyone is trained to see them as these helpless, innocent, can do no wrong victims of the world, right? Then even when your lying eyes are telling you, right? Your lying brain is telling you, oh, this woman's really trying to kill me. You just go sit around and just keep living with her every single day, keep accepting food and drinks from her every day. What is wrong with you? No. Forget all of these stereotypes that work for or against any particular demographic. Please use your common sense, y'all. Damn. And here's a really big danger point. A lot of people don't realize this, right? So prior to his death, Eric's family said he was seeking a divorce and changed the beneficiary of his will and life insurance from his wife to his sister. In March of 2023, a year after her husband's death, Richens released a children's book on grief entitled, Are You With Me? Isn't that like a rallying cry? Wait, what? That's... I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, maybe she got it like it's like, Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret, like the Judy Blume thing. I don't know, but bruh. Okay. No. But this is a danger point. If you really truly believe someone has been trying to harm you, poison you, take you out in some way, right? Once or multiple times prior to this point, and now at this point you want to divorce this person, you want to take them out of your will, blah, blah, blah. You have to understand that this person was already trying to harm you, right? So you are now in excess danger. Do not sit there in this person's face, living with them and giving them access to you 24/7, right? When they've already proven that they don't mean you well necessarily, right? Or if you worry about that, right? It seemed like he has a strong social support network of friends and family. He should have moved out to them. And if you are in a similar situation, please remove yourself from the situation. Okay, as safely and as quickly as possible. You can always serve this person later with the divorce papers, right? You don't have to sit there and keep yourself in harm's way. Now, I understand some people do this because they don't want it to look like they abandoned their matrimonial home and then they're forfeiting rights to it. I get that, but what's worth more, your house or your life? Now, and so this is the cover of the book, right? Corey Richens, you see that right there, right? And actually a sequel was in the works at the time of her arrest. So I guess we'll just never see the brilliance of that sequel. It was called Mom, How Far Away is Heaven? Oh, she's disgusting. She's capitalizing off of the grief her children went through losing their father because she murdered him. Wow. Flagrancy. Do you see why I say flagrant? Flagrant. Oh my God. That's terrible. Damn. Corey Richens, remember, like, she had time. Now, I don't know if she was planning this book in advance or if it's just something she chose to do when she found out she was too late in taking her husband out before he could change the will. He obviously had the opportunity to do so before she took him out. So, I don't know how long she had been planning this book to try to profit off of her crime. However, okay, she did have the time, like I said, to write the book, to publish the book, and then to do the media tour. Guys, let's take a look at this scrupulous woman, okay, on her media tour.
parent, a sibling, or a friend, talking about loss with kids can be a tricky subject.
Joining us now is author of Are You With Me, Corey Richens, to share her 3 C's to helping kids cope with grief. And Corey, I want to start with your story. What happened in your personal life?
So my husband passed away unexpectedly last year. So it's March 4th was a 1-year anniversary for us, and he was 39. It completely took us all by shock. And we have 3 little boys, 10, 9, and 6. And, my kids and I kind of wrote this book on the different emotions and grieving processes that we've experienced last year, and, hoping that it can kind of help other kids, deal with this and kind of, find happiness some way or another.
And to make sense and process, I'm sure. And I'm sure you felt that going through and trying to explain it and articulate it for you and your boys.
Yes, exactly.
Bro, first of all, this just shows you the host had to sit there and try to coach her and to process and make sense of it, all right? Not just to find happiness somewhere, but to process and make sense of loss for small children. Jeez. Mrs. Richens, I wonder if she cared about any of that at all. It doesn't really sound like that's what her goal was. It just very much sounds like her goal was just to capitalize. This is something. I seriously hope they throw her up under the jail. I feel so sorry for her 3 children. They're gonna have to grow up without both parents. Good riddance to them not growing up with that woman, though. Imagine growing up raised by that woman, and then them finding out at some other later point, or just the trauma. Oh, jeez. At some point, those boys, her sons, are going to look like their father, going to act like their father, going to remind her of the father. Then what? Because she's decided that this is a better solution than divorce, which they were already getting. Ugh. Anyway, thank you, Shar. Thank you for this story. Y'all, if you want to see the full story, okay, because this is just a clipped down segment of the story, okay, so if y'all want to see the full story, including the full interview, please subscribe, click that bell. We will be releasing it next week. It's already pre-recorded, pre-uploaded. It is ready for y'all. So, hopefully you guys enjoy this new kind of format we got going on. All right, back to us.
Bless your heart.
So y'all can see now why I said, like, hey, listen, someone who gets a little vengeful and spiteful and petty, not great, but definitely better than someone who will try to murder you multiple times and never give up until they succeed. That's it. And then knowing that she's the one who murdered you, still profit off of the traumatized children of yours. If you think about what that really means, that this demon evil harpy woman did that, because y'all just again track the timeline. Okay, she was trying to kill the man most of the early last year. She finally succeeded in March. Okay, and then a year later she was on that TV show. Okay, so that means that her children magically recovered in one year, long enough, right? So she just managed the 10-year-old and as the eldest, the 6-year-old is the youngest, right? Those are different needs. But somehow she managed to work through all of that trauma and help them process, even though that's not what she said. She's like, oh, just add fun to their lives. Y'all wait till you see the rest of this interview. It is something. But anyway, so she does all this, right? For what? For money. Because she killed him too late. And then she found out he had already taken her out of the will, unfortunately for her. So there was no her getting that money. And then she capitalized off of the grief of the children. Bro. I don't know, man. Isabel, what do you think?
Listen, if somebody tried to kill me, it ain't just divorce. Hey, listen, after a while, for my farm, somebody gotta go first. I'm sorry. This lady done tried to do it. What it was? How many times she kept trying to poison? I'm like, listen, we might well just handle this. Get the gun. Just listen. I don't know what's going on. Then he tried to get away, but he kept. You said he kept eating the food and stuff like that. Listen. If somebody try to kill you, they gonna keep trying to kill you. If you knew enough to give your sister your money, but hey, I'm changing my will over to my sister, my shares to my sister. You know she's trying to get you out of here.
Yeah, she knew. She knew. I mean, he knew, and that's the thing. Like, not only, and we have the records of her buying the fentanyl at 2 separate times, right? And then we can gave an overdose of fentanyl. It obviously wasn't quite enough. And so he got very sick, didn't die. So then she bought more fentanyl and then, gave him enough to finish the job. But we know that before those 2 incidents, there were multiple incidents, including when they were on vacation one time and wherever, where she handed him a drink or food of some sort, and he got violently ill, broken hives, whatever, but he didn't die. We know that this happened multiple times. So I'm like, I don't get it. And now you're divorcing her too. Why would you accept anything from this woman? I don't get it. Like, I'm not trying to blame the victim, but that's what I'm saying. I don't care if you're man, woman, or child. Please do not put yourself in this situation. If you have a funny feeling someone tried to kill you, please remove yourself from that situation. Please.
I get the first time, like, oh yeah, you just had bad food. But you didn't get sick, babe? No, I didn't get sick. She be like, no, I didn't get sick. I'm like, I love some bad food. And then we go somewhere else and it happened again. I'm like, wait. Then it happened a third. I'm like, okay, it's trying to kill me. I'm hitting that Arquette. I wish I had it up right now. They trying to kill me. I'm like, and she's so evil that she wrote a children's book. He had to have some type of sign that she was out of here. That she was like a sick person. Like, if she bold enough to write a children's book to get that, listen, we're gonna talk about it Monday, but you high value men, y'all might get what y'all want. I'm just asking. I'm just saying. People that want money, that's been the theme of this episode, I guess. People that want money will do anything. Speaking of people that want money, we have another one coming up. Let's talk about this.
Hi, my name is Jenny. I'm a sophomore, and this is. Hi, my name is Jenny. I'm a sophomore, and this is for all 3 of you. Can you say in 1 sentence or less what? You know what I mean. Can you say why America is the greatest country in the world?
This is a report from SI.com about a situation where a man was accused of a crime that he didn't do. And there seems to be no repercussions for this man losing hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars because someone falsely accused him. How do we have evidence? Because apparently he wasn't there. And this guy was in the NFL. He wasn't even in the location confirmed by the police. We're going to read it. In which this lady said it happened. Let's read this a little more. This is by SI.com, the Buffalo Billsman. Last December, former Buffalo Bill punter Matt Ariza had his name cleared in a grape case by prosecutors in San Diego. Now, details are emerging as to why Ariza didn't face criminal charges. Originally accused of being part of a gang, of an allegedly intoxicated 17-year-old girl in October 2021. A meeting between Ariza attorney, the accused, and the district attorney in San Diego led to the charges being dropped. Documents of that meeting revealed that Ariza could not have led the girl into a reported gang rape because he had left the house party an hour prior to when the attack reportedly occurred. He wasn't even in the party anymore. Deputy District Attorney Trisha Amador explained to the girl and her attorney, "All I know is that at that point, suspect Ariza is gone from the party." During the meeting, prosecutors also said they couldn't determine if the alleged rape was instead merely consensual between the accuser and multiple men. In looking at the video on the tape, I absolutely cannot prove any forcible say, based on what happened, Amador says. Ariza from San Diego State was selected in the 6th round by the Buffalo Bills in the 2022 draft. He won the punting job in training camp and preseason, but released in August, 2 days after the civil suit was filed against him. Said Bills general manager Brandon Beane, "This is bigger than football. Let's just step back, let Ariza handle this." That's what we thought. Despite being known as a punt guy and got his lofty draft position and winning the job with the Buffalo Bills, the incident has prevented Ariza from ever kicking ball in the NFL. He remains afraid. Ariza still faces a civil suit from the accuser with a hearing that is in the case set for July 14th. According to the prosecutor, he wasn't even in the location. Now, the other stuff, listen, I don't know. I didn't see the tape. I don't know nothing about this situation in terms of that. But they have confirmed that the time it happened, they have a tape of it. He was not in that tape. He was gone. He wasn't even at the party anymore. Confirming that he wasn't in it. Why is he facing a civil suit? Again, I'm not this women lie thing. Not for that. Never will be for that. But also, I'm not just believe all women, because I have seen situations where women tell me they will lie on situations. They're being friends with women. You kind of understand how some of the crazy ones think. But if this man lost his livelihood, shouldn't he be able to sue her at least? If they had the tape, and listen, I don't know if she knew they had the tape, but if she knew the tape was out there, she couldn't point him out, but she still went ahead with it, that's a problem. Now, as I said, the DA said they can't even tell if it was forced or not because the tape looked real consensual. That's not my business. She might have had something happen to her. Listen, they have the tape. I have not seen the tape. I cannot make any adjustments on that. But what she did to this man is disrespectful. It's rude. It's a clout chase. It's not good. And I'm even more harsh if she knew what they had a tape. If she knew they had a tape and she knew he wasn't a part of it, she's a gold digger. I'm afraid to say it. I'm not afraid to say it. She's not a good person at all. If she knew the tape was in there. I can't tell if she was drunk. She seen him at the party. She assumed he was part of the group. All that stuff I have no evidence of. But if she knew that tape was out there, she's a horrible human being. Because she put this man who was not there, confirmed again, seen him leave. He is not there. Everyone confirmed it. That's why I got dropped instantly. And this man loses his whole NFL career because he happened to be at a party that something crazy happened and he wasn't even a part of it. America, we got to reevaluate how we do things around here. Just saying. There's too many people taking advantage of every system. Too many weirdos. It's too many. We need to have a system fit. Like I said in the previous video, I think episode 1 or 2, I don't want to, if you can't prove it, ever punish a woman for going through anything. But if it's known that she did it on purpose, there has to be a punishment, right? If she knew that tape was there, she did not see him, but she still accused him, and she should have a punishment. I'm sorry. I don't care what happened at that point. You ruined a man's life, and you knew it. Now, if she didn't know the tape existed and all that, we can't prove it again. Nothing can be done, right? That's my thing. This is my point. Nothing can be done if we can't prove she knew. But if it's malicious, if she maliciously ruined this man's life, we gotta get her. She has to have some sort of punishment. You cannot just on purpose ruin a man's life when you knew he wasn't there and you still accuse him. Again, that's all a bunch of ifs. If she knew this tape existed that they could see, and she knew it, that should be repercussions. That's malicious. That's my thoughts. Y'all let me know your thoughts. It's tough, man. Hope you get another NFL job. Hope you become a punter, because that's just because you wrong place, wrong time. Well, not even wrong place, wrong time. You wasn't there. You just was at the wrong place. Let me know what y'all thought.
Now, here's the thing. The sad truth is there are documented liars, right? And we actually have one, for example, and she ruined many men's lives, actually. And demonstrably, like they proved it, that she was lying multiple times and ruined, again, it's Black sports stars, you know what I mean, in college, ruined their college careers, sent them to prison, sometimes for like a decade, right? And like in each case, she was proven to have been lying, and you know, she ruined these men's lives, and then that was it. Like there's nothing they can do. You can't give them back their career. You can't give them back their lives. It's it. It's just over for them, right? And so then they were going to charge her because it actually is illegal to lie. And so finally, after I think the 4th or 5th proven time, they were going to charge her, and everybody rebelled. All these people were rebelling and protecting, like, how dare you charge a lying victim? Like it was weird. But here's the problem, right? And I understand the issue to an extent, is you have to prove that she knew she was incorrect. And there are some people, I think it's very easy to prove that. It's very easy to prove they were lying intentionally. And then you have other circumstances. So for example, one of the dudes who you're talking to tells you that he is that sports star. You don't really know what that sports star looks like. So, but you know he's supposed to be at the party, so you believe it. You're drunk too, right? Or whatever. Or you're white, no offense, but if you're talking about a Black man and you're not Black, witness identify, it's very difficult for us to see the differences in the faces of people who don't share a race with us. Okay, that's not them being racist. That's just the way our brains are. Black people can see Black people's faces better if they were born and raised with Black people, right? Or like, for example, with me, I can see white people's faces pretty accurately because I was raised up with a bunch of white people everywhere, right? But then there are people who aren't and they can't. So, and you know, it's just like when a lot of people say all Asians look alike, but guess what? Asians don't think they all look alike. They can see drastic differences that we can't see. So, you know, mistaken identity 1,000% happens. In fact, witness identification is a terrible way to point people out and say, yeah, he's the one who did it. Terrible, terrible. So many Black men get exonerated after good faith eyewitness testimony. Good faith, but they messed up because it happened in a flash. Your brain, and there's real psychology behind this. There's real science behind this. So at this point, I don't think we have enough information to say that she did intentionally lie. The problem is that if we do have enough evidence to exonerate this man, then there has to be something, like, regardless of whether or not we can punish her for a second. Let's set that part aside, because it's not about punishing her for a second. Right now, it's about how do we restore this man? He did nothing wrong. He doesn't deserve to have his whole entire life ruined forever. He doesn't deserve to have his reputation, his characters, everything ruined forever. He doesn't deserve to have to work at McDonald's and have all of his dreams squashed. He worked for since he was 3 forever because of this, whether it's a lie or just a mistake. He didn't do it. He's not wrong, right? That's not fair. So I feel like what we need to start focusing on is, okay, how do we restore these people, whether the accuser was acting in good faith or not? How do we restore them? What can we do? What can we set up to not just vindicate them legally, but to vindicate them in a way they get their scholarships back, they get their position in the programs back, they get, you know, their chance at the NFL or whatever the heck sport they're playing, right? Like, how do we do that? Because that's really the important thing here, right? Like, if Kobe had, you know, the false allegations come just a little bit earlier, Kobe wouldn't be Kobe. Do you know what I mean? So how do we do that? How do we make these allegations not life ruining before anyone's even proving guilty, let alone, you know what I mean? Like, what do we do? How do we do this? That's the question. I don't know what we do though.
Sports move on quick. You get injured, next man up. So I seen people that got injured and was all-stars, never be on the team again. Simply because they had a back injury, a leg injury, move on. So then you ain't played in 2 years. This punter wouldn't have punted in 2 years. Maybe we'll give you a shot. This is before, by the way, this is before his first check. This was after he got drafted. So he won the starting job, and then he got instantly. This came out, and they cut him. He hasn't been in the league in 2 years now, and they finally announced after 2 years why they dropped the charges, because people was upset that they dropped the charges. So the police came out and said, "Listen, he wasn't even at the location when this happened. There's a tape of it, and he's not in this tape. We don't even know if it really happened. That's, like I said, not a story that I don't know nothing. Didn't see the tape. But the fact he wasn't there is 100%. He's not on here. He's not. Matter of fact, we have a video of him leaving an hour before this happened. So I know he wasn't there. He just was there at a time and then left. So you can't even accuse him of allowing it to happen, because he wasn't even in the building. So now his whole career ruined. And like I said, sports move on quick.
That's true.
So it's like, basically, it's like, you just have to hope somebody's nice and give them a chance. Just hope that one owner is like legit nice and gives him a chance to make the roster.
No, we need it needs to be more than that. They definitely have more than that, because you know what? If you're of a certain level of privilege, trust me, they have a whole entire ways of doing. We just need to apply that to people who aren't rich enough to be able to afford spin doctors and whatnot, right? To rehab their image. So I don't know. Like I feel like we need to figure out how to get that done. I really do, because it's too lucrative for liars to lie. And at the same time, the system whereby we shamed the actual victims, because we did do this for a very long time, including honestly modern day, where we shame victims because it's like, come on, he made this one mistake, but you're going to ruin his whole life. He's a great, and that's happened with a lot of big stars that actually exist right now, right? So it's like, that's not a good solution either. So I feel like we need to have something, though, that when someone false accuses or whatever, that there's a system here, because this is it's just we just can't keep doing this to young Black men. It's so devastating.
We have to figure out, it has to be something that you can figure out, whether it's a punter, whatever, whoever, it don't matter. He never got a shot. But again, you have to, I don't know, we have to figure something out. It ain't fair that no one ever get accused of something they didn't do and then have to go through the trials of it. And the fact that the one thing that hurt is that he got acquitted quick, because they literally knew he didn't do it. So it didn't even last long, and he still couldn't get his job back. Like, it was, hey, listen, this was 2 days ago. I just got cut 2 days. I can't get my job back. Like, nah, we moved on. It's tough.
Yeah. There's gotta be some kind of insurance or something. I don't know. But they're starting to pay college athletes and whatever. So they are changing that culture. So maybe that just needs to be added into that culture somewhere, where there's a certain type of insurance you get, because, you know, as a public figure like that, you're a lot more likely to be unfairly targeted, right? So I don't know. Maybe that's the arena to go into.
Like I said, I'm not trying to blame her, because I don't know her situation at all. She might have saw him, was drunk, and thought he was there.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, more information will come out. It always does. The truth will out. At some point, it always comes to light, right? So
that DA, that woman did look like she was not playing with this. It was interesting that it was just a civil suit, not anything else. Matter of fact, she got another civil suit still against him, which is still interesting after we know this. Let's laugh a little bit, Ruby. You got something for us? What we got? We got a Karen.
Yeah, we're gonna do a Karen. Now, unfortunately, this Karen is like not as super duper funny, just funny without a message. But it's all right, because I like crazy people in all varieties. Now, I'm going to read this to you for those of you who are just listening, right? Again, Spotify, iHeartRadio, so on and so forth. We're basically going to be on everything. Like, we're taking over the internet. We're on like every platform. Anyway, so it says, and this is a woman, okay, a biological born a woman who posted this, and she said, "I knew she was talking about me, so I started recording. Today, a woman thought I was trans and harassed me for using the bathroom. I tried to mentally prepare myself before leaving the stall, knowing she was going to approach me." Right? Now, the insane thing about this, right, is this is just a girl who was wearing, you know, not super feminine clothes, but more importantly, I guess does not have a feminine enough body or face appearance, right? And so this Karen decided that she could do this. Like she just decided, like it's her God-given right. Let's take a listen here. It's a boy. It's a boy. It's a like your thing. Mm. Like first off, Karen starts off by saying it's a boy, it's a child, it. So you're a thing, and then you're saying it's a child. So you're acknowledging that this person is young, one way or the other, and you've decided, I guess, because of Crocs and sweatpants, that this is and again, young children. It's not like they've developed. They all get all these curves at 13, right? This is just this poor kid. Okay, let's keep listening. Hold up, Karen says that as a woman, it's not like she identifies as a man or something or dresses up as a man, but no, she just doesn't want to wait. And let's be real, we've all done it, okay? The line for the women's bathroom is always super long. The men's bathroom is never long, or like even anyone in there. It's like, I'm just gonna pop in and out of the stall really fast, it'll be fine. All right, we've all done it. Okay. Now, if a dude wants to cuss me for doing it, I would be like, yeah, I get you. I feel you. Because, you know, if I walk by some boy, you probably would feel away. I get it. No problem. Right. But Karen is saying, listen, because she decided to intentionally violate rules. She's a woman who identifies as a woman, who dresses as a woman, does everything as a woman, going into the men's room to use the washroom because she don't want to wait in the women's line. And so as a result, now she has the right to play 20 questions with anybody she sees in the women's restroom. Okay. Why? They can't hear it? Oh. Oh, so you see, this is you see, I'm not looking at the screen. I can't see what everyone else is seeing. I can only see the screen, but y'all can hear me, right? You can't hear the video though? Oh. Okay. All right. Well, so Danteezy cannot hear the actual video. Okay. I know, I don't know which video ninja to. Okay, let me mute this one. What is that? Okay. Let's see if y'all can hear it now. Oh. Well, I just pressed play a second ago. So. Okay, let me know if y'all can hear it now. The video should be playing clearly.
It's a child. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
Are you a man or a woman?
Why does that matter?
Well, because you're in the ladies' room.
Okay.
And I have gotten called out several times for being in the men's room.
Okay.
And you're going to be
because
called
that's her
out
fault.
for whatever you're doing. So what are you identifying as today?
What do you mean? Are you identifying as today?
Okay, it's not. So you're in the ladies' room where I think I need to identify you.
You do not need to identify me.
Is that right? How old are you?
Doesn't matter.
Really?
No.
Okay. So we'll wait for the police to come and figure it out.
Okay. Let's wait for the police to come.
Yeah, because this is not the way you play your shit. Go down on the strip and try to do it there. Don't do it up here. This is a suburb, not.
First of all, she thinks that this is a young kid. She really does. Karen thinks this is a kid, and she's telling the kid should go do this on the strip. First off. Second of all, this is clearly a girl's voice. This is clearly, like, you can hear this is clearly a biologically estrogen-fueled voice. Okay, you can hear it. Especially if this is a young kid. There's not enough time for you to have done all of this stuff for you. Like, dude, this is a kid. You're probably making her feel like crap too, because you are so, like, she's so not feminine enough. She's still so not pretty enough, right? And she's not wearing the right enough clothes that you so believe that she's a boy, like that, like to that extent that you're gonna be like attacking her and challenging her to this level for what? Because she's wearing like sweatpants and a hoodie. This is something. This is next level.
Not allowed. Not allowed. Yeah, you think you're going to be a woman? It's okay. And be a man? It's okay. No. Figure out your identity in your bedroom, okay? And then project it on everybody else and we'll accept it. This is not acceptable.
Let's go get security.
Do y'all realize what she just said? She said, it's like, what is she talking about? She's saying that because she can't figure out whether or not this person is a boy or a girl, that the person needs to go to their bedroom and figure out what their identity is and then project it onto the world better. As in, be a better woman if you're going to be a woman. You have to dress a certain way and wear makeup and wear your hair a certain way and blah, 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 and project feminine. So that way Karen doesn't have to wonder about you. And if Karen wonders about you, then she has every God-given right to come here and challenge you because you aren't being a woman enough. This is a woman, by the way, just so we're all clear, but okay.
Security.
Yes, let's
feel
do
harassed. She's harassing me for being in the bathroom.
What's going on?
Well, yeah. You know what ended up happening here, right? Is Karen was not in the right. In fact, Karen got removed. Removed from the premises. That's wild. That is wild. Now, I understand wherever you stand on LGBTQ rights and whatever, right? Wherever you stand on it, it's fine. That's not what this discussion is, because this is about a discussion that's been happening for like 100 years now about women wearing boys' clothes, right? Like just wearing pants or wearing sweatpants or not having to have themselves nipped and tucked and lifted and boosted and if we don't do all of that, then we're not women enough. Then you're not sure about us. Then you think you can question us and shame us publicly and do all of that. So that's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. And that's shameful. That's absolutely shameful of Karen that she was doing that, especially to such a young mind, because that young woman is going to forever feel like she literally looks like a boy. She literally looks like a man, to the point where she's going to have to gussy herself up at all times. Otherwise, she'll probably get treated like this again. She'll actually get questioned to this point again. Like, imagine what this does to the young psyche, to their confidence and whatever, right? And this is all like over Karen and the identity dog whistle politics. Like, obviously, that's all this was about. Karen was not scared of this person, wasn't scared this person might be, trying to do anything bad. No, she just wanted to do this identity politics nonsense, be able to call someone out and God, it's disgusting. What do you think, Zell? This is disgusting. Oh, you are muted.
I'm not used to it. I'm pressing the button. Got my mic back. But one thing I have found out is people want to hate people, and it's just like popular hate. It make you feel better, right? I'm a real woman. You ain't like me. I'm like, ma'am, you're a loser. You're going around bathroom checking to see who's men or women. You have no life. You live a sad life. Everybody else that's got a life, they're trying to get in and get out.
Pretty
I'm
much,
I'm trying to get it. I'm like, I gotta use the bathroom. I gotta get out. I'm not worried about who goes around the public bathroom and like, are you? And then she had the nerve to say they didn't let me in the men's bathroom. What kind of weirdo want to go in the men's bathroom?
I'm just saying, like what?
What is going on in the world where you watching whoever goes to the bathroom? Like, are you checking? You just walking around the Walmart like, are you a woman? To everybody that comes through the door, like, do you not have a life? Like, is she an employee?
Right.
She's not an employee, right? She just some
No,
she's
she's a random woman. Yeah,
like, I'm like,
no.
maybe that's an old woman that's bored, and so she's just around out harassing people in the bathroom. Old people at work be bored and they harass people all day. They be like, hey, let me harass you right now. Did you pay for that? I'm like, look, man, I worked here as a zone manager. You are not allowed to ask people if they did it. That is against Walmart policy. I don't know what you're asking if they paid for it. It's a stupid policy, by the way. But again, there are old people that just do it if they want. So she didn't even work there. That means she's hanging out at Walmart. Checking.
Yeah, that's what she was doing. She saw this person walk by and she decided she had the God-given right to do all of this mess. Like, it's too much. It's too much.
I never went to a public bathroom and wondered if somebody else, I'm trying to use the bathroom to get out. I don't even
I've
want to
never
be in
even
here.
noted. Thank you.
I
would have to like, no. I'm trying to, I don't want to touch nothing. I'm worried about my skin or my stuff touching something in this place. I'm just trying to get in and out. In and out. That's it.
I'm trying to look. This is disgusting. Unless I knew it was like early in the morning, they just cleaned it. But other than that, I'm like, this place is disgusting. I don't want to be here. So I know I ain't got time to be looking to see, is this a woman in the bathroom?
Like, I think that's the thing, though. I would not like. This is like a short person who is petite, wearing sweats and a hoodie. I wouldn't be thinking much about you at all. Like, you wouldn't, there's not enough about this person. She is a woman again, right? But there's not enough about that person that it would have even jostled me to think, I wonder if that person's trans. I wonder if that person was, you know what I mean? Because sometimes that could happen. Someone's really tall. Maybe they have, big hands, this and that. And so you might think to yourself for a second, I wonder if that person's trans. I would understand if it was like, okay, you're wrong, or if the person really was trans, so you picked up on something obviously, but no, this is a girl. So all you were talking about is an androgynous style, right? The hoodie, the whatever, maybe short hair, and maybe she's like a dyke, no offense, but like that's the what's the butch, that's the word. I think that's not, I think that's honestly just as not PC. I'm terrible with PC words. I apologize. I feel like I am queer spawn, which is actually a valid term. Therefore, I'm allowed to be a little less PC. But anyway, like, dude, enough of you, Karen. Karen, you're doing too much. I know you were excited to meet a trans person in real life. You're like, oh my God, all my hopes and dreams will come true. I've met a trans person. I can put them down and then I can tell people that I told that trans person where to stick it.
She gotta be from Florida.
Of course she's from Florida. Of course she is. Sorry, nephew, but she is. You know it.
Yeah, she's from Florida. They, I got one. They're like, I got one.
Wait a minute, Zal.
DeSantis.
Is our final story of the night? Is that in Florida?
It is not. It's some Florida Jace. It's in Nashville, Tennessee. And y'all say too much. It's a night manager that did way too much.
Just wait, Shar. Shar, you're gonna be horrified.
I immediately them a silence. But y'all see that title, right? I'm not the only one that see that title. Tennessee hotel guest wakes up to night manager sucking on his toes, according to the police. There is no way that we see this, right? Do you know how terrifying that is? Okay. My people in the chat, then TZ, all my male people, J. Charles, anybody at BMT, anybody in the chat. We're gonna find out a little more in a minute. I'm hoping it's a woman. Even then, it's very strange. For if you're straight, now if you gay, you can do it. Oh, but that's a problem. That's an issue. Let's go. Let's read the story. An evening manager of a Tennessee hotel was arrested after he snuck into a man's room. He snuck in and sucked on his toes, according to police. David Neal, a 52-year-old manager at the 4th Avenue South Hilton Hotel. Be careful of them Hiltons. Shout out to Paris. In Nashville, allegedly crept into a male's guest room while he was sleeping on March 30th and got intimate with his feet. According to Nashville Metropolitan Police, Neal made a key card to get into the room, ended around 5 a.m. The guest told the police he woke up to Neal's mouth around his toes and immediately confronted him. He recognized Neal as one of the hotel employees who came into his room the day before to fix his TV. Neal admitted to police that he had entered the room, but claimed he did so because he smelled smoke and wanted to make sure the guest was okay. Wait. I smell smoke. Let me go in this room and let me put my mouth around his toes. Okay, that is like crazy. This dude is look at. Do y'all see this? Look at this dude. Look at this dude. Police said Neal never reported smelling smoke to security, and there were no other reports of guests or staff smelling smoke in the room. Of course not. Look at this dude. Look at him. Look at him. The room key was not recovered. Oh my God, he still got the room key. Neal told investigators he had thrown it away. Oh my God, he's a perennial toe sucker. I wonder how many people has he toes has he sucked while they slept in their bed. Yo, listen, serious note. Imagine somebody actually sticking their mouth on your toes while you're sleeping at 5 a.m. in the morning. Listen, the world is doomed. I'm a doomer pilled. It's over with. We all going to because of this man right here. I'm blaming this dude. Sheldon Cooper at 70 years old is the reason why the world is the way it is. Let me know your thoughts. What would you do in this situation? Who are you fighting? And how would you handle this situation? I want to know, would you ever work in a hotel again? Are you now hesitant to sleep in said hotels? I have nothing for you. I'll be that has nothing for you. We have no clue about any of this. But I'm not your Superman. I'm just a guy reporting the news, and I'll be that. Back to y'all. So you wake up at 4 a.m. and the guy just got his mouth around your toe. Old Sheldon Cooper is right here sucking your toes. He made a key by pretending to fix a TV. And then he comes in your room while you're sleeping and sucks your toes.
Naturally, it's like full service, right? It's just like you didn't order full service. I thought you wanted the deluxe package, sir. What happened? Why are you upset now?
But this could have been a lot worse if he would have went a little further up, but he was afraid he'll wake up. Oh no, this is wild. Listen, this is as they say, terrorism. I don't know. Totally uncalled for, as the teacher said. I need him to give me toe and suffering money out along with the hotel settlement. Listen, that's a wild story. A man broke into your room, a night manager at this hotel, copied your key, came in the middle of the night, and sucked on your toe, and you just wake up and that man's life would have been in danger. I'm not gonna lie. I don't even call for violence. I'm a peaceful person now. But listen, I felt assaulted. Wet pedicures must be a new thing. Listen, this is wild. I've never thought I would be like, Hey, y'all comfortable going to the Hilton now?
Oh, I'm not comfortable going to hotels in general. I think they're filthy and disgusting. So
the new jail.
Certainly never thought they were safe. So I don't know. I don't know why other people think they are. You just
hotel way better than motel. I could have promised this was gonna be in a motel. Y'all could like the Hilton. I'm like, all right, the Hilton ain't the best. It's a hotel. Motels like the ones on the street corner. Oh yeah, 100% a crackhead coming in and sucking your dog. 100%.
Well, but it's not just that. You know, the thing is, hospitality has gone way down since Rona because, like, they stopped maintaining. Because, like, when we were effectively homeless last year, when the flood demolished our condo, we had nowhere to go. We really had nowhere to go, and the problem was we kept there was basically thunderstorms had destroyed a bunch of places originally, so a lot of hotels were at like their max capacity, their Rona max capacity, and then we would go somewhere, we try to get a hotel room, and the hotel rooms would all be filthy, like disgusting filthy, like no one can stay here filthy. Like I would have to get all of my stuff and clean the entire place from top to bottom, filthy, right? So hospitality's gone down a lot since Rona. So I would hazard a guess that, probably security in hospitality has also gone down amongst other things. And yeah, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. That's just what that's.
I'm not gonna hold you. I've been upset. I would even been like, this ain't the straight man in me would have been like, oh, he's a male. But then the other part of me is, why you look like this too? Like, why this dude? I'm like, why is that my thought? I'm just be over my like, hey, bro.
I don't know. I mean, to me, I expect him to look like that, though. That's literally exactly when you told me the story. I'm like, yeah, no, that's exactly what I expected him to look like. Like he didn't disappoint me at all. That's exactly what I expected.
He must have mistook them bunions for a type of pastry. Why did they done cheesy specifically and Charlotte going like this?
Oh, the ratchetry of it all. The ratchetry of it all. Well, guys, I'm gonna just tell you something. Okay. This week we were really trying to make the show shorter. All of our segments are shorter, and somehow or another the show ran longer. So
we split the shows into
yeah, I don't know. I don't know what went wrong. Like every one of our segments, all of my 25-minute segments that I normally do, none of those. Most of my segments were 10 minutes. We should have had 25, 30 minutes to be able to talk freely. And somehow or another, just so our bad. We're trying. Okay. So we're gonna have 2 days a week. 2 days a week is gonna allow us to do more news stories overall, right? But keep the show time down. Monday is a discussion piece as well. We're gonna be doing some, social media viral kind of topic. You know what the topic is. If you don't, maybe we'll share it on the community tab. So just so you have an idea, you guys can come and prepare your arguments against Rollo and his vasectomies for all, amongst other things. And yeah, we are going to do the call-in. We're going to do call-in, right, Sal, on Monday?
Yeah, you'll be able to come in and whatnot. So it'll be a fun discussion. Monday's for the ratchet. Thursday's for the news.
There you go. So y'all make sure you are subscribe, click that bell so that way you don't miss a thing. Plus, we've got some great premieres coming up all week because you got to get the extended version of everything because I was really trying to cut things down this week and somehow or another cutting down. I don't know what went wrong. I don't, but we're trying. So thanks guys for sticking with us anyway. That's nice of you. We love you. I would message all of you, but I can't because my phone died. And I asked hubby to bring me a charger for the phone, and he decided to bring it along after the phone died. So now we don't have a phone to text you all. So I'm going to say now, thank you so much. Really appreciate all of your support as is usual. Couldn't do this without you guys, and we will see you next week.
This week, like and subscribe, all that stuff. Mama, we on Spotify, Amazon Music, not Apple Music yet, and iHeartRadio.
Mm-hmm.
So follow us on that too, if you on there. If you enjoy those shows, man. We'll come out the next day on Friday and Tuesday on YouTube Live Monday and Thursday. We out. Appreciate y'all. Peace.
Cheers, y'all.